Live right now.
Oh boy, I don't know.
We're alive. I don't know if we want to be alive.
We shouldn't do it.
Well, we've got a action-packed episode for you today. I didn't tell them why, but it's sure to make a lot of people uncomfortable. And we're also joined today in studio by Flat Marianne. Check it out after this.
Who's there? It's rare. Who's there? It's rare. Come fill your time. This pod's for all. From the Finger Lakes, join in the call. Learn something new about the Cuca Trail. Upstate New York, every episode a tell. Who's there? It's rare. Who's there? It's rare. It's rare.
Welcome, everybody. Marianne is muted, and now she is. Why can't I hear you, Marianne?
I don't know.
Well, now I can.
There we go.
You
I'm
unmute yourself. That's better. All right.
Yeah.
I wish that you could be here in a more three-dimensional form.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like
love
Flat
it.
Marianne. She
just feel like-
She hasn't gave me any dirty looks yet. We're
Not
doing
yet.
good.
I feel like you just got a whole different dimension in person.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
I'm really proud of, the way that we were able to put you together.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot.
wish
There's
we
a lot of
can get I wish we can get a close up of it though. It's so great.
Oh God.
That's as close as we can get.
Oh no.
I forgot it doesn't have its headphones on, but I think
Yeah.
she can hear us. She can hear
Fine.
us. Yeah. That was a project that we did yesterday with Portia's with Marianne's daughter.
It was good times. It was good coloring. And my hair is like all crazy, so it's cool. Jesse, what's up with your look? You look like you're ready for I don't know, what is it? Magnum PI? Oh, this is like stuck. Wait, is it just me? No, that's kind of weird. You don't want just me here. That's not going to be cool. I don't know where everybody went. And it says live.
Are you still there?
Oh my gosh, what just happened?
We had some technical difficulties, and thank God you were in a separate location.
And able to keep everyone there.
I think people are probably really sad about it.
Crazy.
That was weird.
So I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad I'm back too. No, I was questioning Jesse's look because it looks like he's ready to fight crime but be fashionable.
Not really. I mean, he's more of a private investigator.
Yeah. I was kind of going for the Tom Selleck look.
Tom Selleck.
He couldn't fit his Detroit Tigers hat underneath.
Can we
his,
zoom in on this
headphones.
beauty?
That's
Look at that beauty. Look at that thing.
It looks like just this nasty caterpillar.
It's
crawled
an
up onto
Ethiopian caterpillar is what it is. That's what's going on.
Wow.
It's madness, really. It's madness. Man, how have you guys been doing this week?
I've been super busy. What about you, Marianne? How's it been?
Yeah, no, same old, busy. It's great. Life's fun, I guess you could say. I just saw Phil yesterday, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
It's
it feels like it's
can't-
been hours. It's been hours and hours since I've seen you.
I know, right?
We always have a good time.
So Phil made me order a weird coffee today, and I was
from Amity.
yeah, and it's,
I made him order a weird coffee. He made me order a vanilla latte
which are delicious.
for a man. Sorry, I know it's sexist, but I'm willing to be sexist here. That black coffee is where it's at for men. So men,
I agree.
Black coffee.
It was called Black Drip Coffee.
So I went in there. Here's how that all originated, right? I
Okay.
went in there and I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, I just want a coffee. I just want a cup of coffee. Like, I don't want crazy stuff. I just want it to be black, and I want it to be made with coffee beans and water and nothing else.
It's pretty
Like
fair.
a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
At a coffee shop. And it's like lattes and Americanos and whatever, cappuccinos, frappuccinos, whatever. And I'm like, can I just get a cup of coffee? How do I order that here? And she goes, oh, you mean just like drip coffee? I said, yeah, just drip coffee. Just like through
Sure.
a percolator.
Yeah.
And
okay.
just with coffee. So I just like the dark roast. And I just want it to go through a percolator.
I think I got you.
That's all it is. It's just regular coffee.
He's a simple man. Simple man.
Colombian, like thing coffee. It's a little different. It's like their special roast today.
It's good.
Is it?
I
Good.
like it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
good.
Cool.
But I worry, when I go there, I worry that I'm gonna get I don't know, like,
You don't know?
yeah, like when people order coffee, I just want to be able to get it right. If they had it, I would get Turkish coffee. I'm really love Turkish coffee, but it's too much work to make it a place like that.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So
I had a red eye on vacation. Oh, you ever had one of those?
is that with an egg in it?
No. Well, there's a cocktail like that. No,
Okay.
like a coffee. It's like espresso with like a full shot of espresso with just like a like just dark coffee in it. And I took a huge sip because I thought it was like going to be more coffee. Oh
Mhm.
man, yeah, that wakes you up. They'll put more hair on your chest.
It's fine.
Which
Because you need more hair.
I don't need any more of that.
I don't know.
I got Dunkin' Donuts black coffee, so yeah, iced black coffee.
So what's
Not as fancy as you guys.
Yeah, well,
Well, sometimes not as fancy as just as good.
not as fancy as Marianne.
All right. I mean, look at that, Marion. Would you like a sip of coffee? Maybe
Please.
we can keep her going here.
I asked Phil, I'm like, is this my Halloween costume? And then I'm thinking, wait, is Halloween even going to be a thing this year?
Yeah,
Right?
it has to be. It's the one thing you can't
Oh.
cancel is Halloween.
No,
What's-
everyone wears a mask already. You're already kind of social distancing, right? I don't even know.
But I have one rule about Halloween, and that's I won't wear a mask.
Why?
Because it's like that's how it's harder to do this with a mask. It's harder to drink.
What are you
And
going to be drinking at Halloween?
Harder to interact with people, and
No, but that's why you just like wear the mask when you show up and then you take it off.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that makes it stupid. It's like, what's the point? Oh, I'm gonna pay however much money, more than $10 for something I'm gonna put on my face so I can walk into a room, and then I'm gonna take it off as soon as I get in there so that I can do something else. That's silly.
It is silly. You can do what I did last
So
year.
I just dress up as Tom Selleck.
Yeah, well, I went as John Holmes last year. That's you might want to Google him.
Who's John Holmes?
You might want to.
John Holmes.
You might want to.
Let me see.
It's not appropriate for a podcast.
I'm not gonna. Okay.
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
gonna bring it
no.
up on the screen. I don't know what it is.
Nope. Don't even do that.
That's an after hours Google that we should be doing.
Maybe I won't Google it at all.
That you might not like what you see.
All right, then I won't look at it at all.
Look at Marianne. She's like, thank God.
Oh, God. It's too early.
Video
It's too early. Hey, so Phil, Portia, and I went to Angels for breakfast yesterday. They just opened up last week, and that was fun. And they are following protocol to the T. That was just nice to be back in there again. What do you think, Phil?
Well, yeah, it's nice to see that a business is making a resurgence in the community. It was full in there. All the seats that were allowed to be sat in were sat in.
Wow.
And
No one at the bar, though.
with they didn't have any seating at the bar, but with and I'm looking down here because that's where I can see Marianne, by the way. So I'm
Yeah.
not just like
You don't
crazy.
used to me.
but
It's hard to look at the camera.
just with what's been going on with some of the businesses in this country and the world right now, in this community right now, it's nice to see a business that decided, we're going to open our doors back up
Mhm.
and make a go of it. So
And
good luck to them.
one of the like oldest businesses in Penn Yan, I imagine.
Is that true?
It's been here forever. Like, I mean, you ever like looked at the pictures on the walls? Like, I mean, I imagine it's been there for over 30,
It's
40
mostly
years.
like servicemen.
What do you mean?
Don't they have just a bunch of pictures of like
No, they have like
military vets?
no, like, and so when you sit down in your booth to the right, there's like pictures of them like working
Oh.
back in the day and everything like that. So yeah,
This
Pretty cool.
this is for this area. This is an old community.
yeah.
This was, I mean, this popped up, not long after. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not long after the American Revolution, kind of in the 1780s, 90s, 1800s. Burkett Mills has been around since the 1790s.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think 1797 maybe, and
Whoa.
they've been milling buckwheat since the 1790s. It's unbelievable what we have here.
I ate that pancake.
You ate the giant pancake.
Yeah, my
You were not, wasn't it like
in
what
the-
year was it? Come on.
It must
You
have
told me you
been-
weren't born till the 90s.
Yeah, my mom and dad told me they took me there. I was like 1 or 2, and I like
Okay.
had a piece of the pancake. And
So did you meet Willie Nelson? Was that the same year?
I don't know. I can't remember. I was just told about this experience. It's actually that happens to me a lot when I get older. I learn about things after the fact too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because there's alcohol involved.
I
But,
wonder if Willie ate the pancake.
Willie was probably really high. I'm sure he ate
He-
the pancake. Yeah,
If he was there that
yeah,
year, he would have.
he ate the pancake.
Oh,
And back to Flat Marianne.
so Marianne.
How things been at the wine bar lately?
Well,
She's gonna kill us.
crud.
We're in trouble.
So Marianne, she can't hear me, but Marianne and I stopped by the new pottery place on Main Street in Penn Yan as well. And
Okay.
it was pretty cool. They had a lot of nice homemade stuff. And, they really flipped over the refined space pretty quickly.
Oh, is that what's in there? I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Yep.
What's the name of it?
Marianne, once she gets her headphones on, she doesn't know we're waiting for her. Marianne, we have a
I'm
question
here.
for you. What's the name
What's
of
the
the
question?
pottery? What's the name of the pottery place?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, we were
It's a
there.
pottery.
It is where Refined was,
Okay.
and they've got cool stuff.
Nice.
They did.
I peeked in the windows a little bit over at
Main Street.
Golly, the Staving Artist.
Oh yeah,
It looks beautiful in there.
Yeah.
So much bigger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Newbie reminds us that the original name of Penn Yan was Pandemonium, and somebody was telling me that it had a lot to do with all the Irish workers that came in that were just like causing all sorts of craziness. I'm allowed to say that.
It was really
Because
called
you're Irish.
Pandemonium. Yeah, it was called Pandemonium before they named it Penn Yan because all the craziness with all the mill workers and stuff.
Do you know what Penn Yan stands for?
Yes, everybody knows what Penn. Well, I guess maybe not everybody knows what Penn
Yeah.
Yan stands
Yeah,
for.
that's pretty
Why don't you
cool.
tell us about
It
it?
stands for Pennsylvania Yankee.
And do you know why?
No, I just know why it's called that. What Penn Yan stands for.
Take it
but-
up a notch.
And
Come on. Oh, I need to stay away from that. Sorry,
you
everyone.
just- everybody that just heard a boom.
Breaking things. Sorry.
The chair.
Anyway,
Why are you looking at me?
I'm sure I messed the camera up. The camera's like, where are we now?
yeah.
No.
Anyway, when we had the settlers that came from both Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, and them kind of mixing together in this community inspired that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
When did it get changed to Penn Yan?
Ooh, I can't answer that.
Okay.
I want to say early 1800s. I don't know the exact year.
Interesting.
I
Gotcha.
know Marie was one of my friends from my visit to New York City this spring.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that she'll come on the show
Oh.
kind of in the capacity that Marianne is right now. Well, not in the capacity, but through the same mode that
Right.
we'll be able to remote her in while we've got Marianne hopefully in 3D in the studio. And we can talk to her a little bit about some of the craziness that ensued down in New York City this spring.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
I'd like to fact check Phil on a lot of his stuff. So let's bring people in. The
Yes.
the stories he tells.
Well,
like,
we all agreed on lying.
oh, okay. 'Cause
We all agreed on lying.
there's something about saving a cat from a burning building, and just things that I really like to.
I wouldn't run into a burning building in New York City.
I'd like to
For a cat.
Well, definitely not for a cat.
Not for a cat.
If there was a dog, maybe, probably, yeah, I would go for a dog.
Yeah, really.
I don't know, like the buildings in New York City, though, they're like not like the buildings here.
They're a lot bigger.
Usually,
yeah.
Wow.
Oh man. So, did you guys see the? I guess I'll spring some things on you, and we don't have to go in depth on them if you don't know anything about them. But did you see the explosion in Beirut last week?
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh.
Did you see the videos that they've been coming out with? It's
Yeah.
like, and then the president of Lebanon said, "Oh yeah, it's either negligence or external intervention." He thought that they got bombed or something. I'm like, you can watch the video.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody walked up and started that fire, but there's certainly negligence just from keeping
All those explosives.
I mean,
together.
code officer. Come on.
You're right.
Do you think that?
That's why we have sprinkler systems and all kinds of powders that drop down if there's a fire. If there's
Probably not storing that quantity of explosives in the manner that they were.
actually, the quantity. I'm sure we have quantities like that. I'm sure other people do, but the preventive measures taken in case something like that happens.
They probably aren't storing those quantities next to a bunch of other buildings in a port.
I wouldn't think so.
They're probably in the middle of nowhere, so that if it blows up, man, that's crazy.
Buildings like that in like New York State, like any like big like chemical hazard, anything like that, explosions, they get checked so often, like all the time. Yeah.
For this various reason.
Yeah, to make sure that if a fire happens, it is instantly taken care of. You don't
fire
have to get out of control.
Fire is the most dangerous thing there is.
Yeah.
Mhm. The
True.
magnitude of the explosion, though, was so impressive to watch over and over again, and even from various perspectives of it. 'Cause I think maybe people have seen the one with the wedding, the bride, the zoom in on the, maybe you haven't seen it, but the zoom in on the bride, and all of a sudden explosion, and then it's like seeing it from the explosion, how it hit the building and whatnot. But just seeing the before and after picture of it too, how you see the buildings, and then afterwards it's just everything's flattened, and it's just like, wow, how are there not more casualties, I guess you could say, but I don't know what the number is right now.
Yeah, I didn't see the number.
I think maybe, I don't know. I can't speculate. I thought originally maybe something to do with the shutdown, but I think ports are still really cruising along because they still have to get things in and out of their country.
Yeah, there's some countries that don't have some of the necessities that, they need without trade.
So here's another one that I don't know if, first off, disclaimer, none of these opinions reflect any of our respective actual real jobs. So did you guys see the new executive order?
I did.
By Trump.
I did.
No.
Yeah.
What?
So he's I'll let Phil finish, but it was interesting that he did it for one.
What?
But,
what do you do?
Yeah, and it makes me argue the opposite of what I usually do. So anyway, he extended the additional unemployment.
Yep.
Except at the level of $400 instead of $600.
Okay.
He extended the delay on student loans, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I'm excited about that.
He extended what's the other one?
He also made it so you can't be evicted for not
he
paying your
extended
rent,
the eviction one, and
which I'm highly against because I'm dealing with it personally at this point. So
and he what was the other? He did one where you don't have to pay payroll tax. The employees don't have to pay payroll tax.
Something about a payroll
holiday.
holiday.
Payroll tax holiday.
Yeah.
So basically, the employees, and I'm not sure if it applies to employers or not, but aren't paying payroll tax through the rest of the year, and that's what pays for, your Medicare and Social Security.
Right.
The employer or the employee? The employer
I
pays
believe the employee. Well, there's a portion that comes from the employer and a portion that comes from the employee.
Right.
And I believe that the employee portion is being waived. I'm not sure if that also is applying to the employer.
I imagine with where Trump stands, I'm sure he would try to find a way to make that work because he's always about trying to help, the business owner.
True.
So here's I usually don't like to defend Trump, and he doesn't need people to defend him. But when he gets attacked, it's typically people saying, you can't do that about stuff that he shouldn't do. Right. So like maybe he does something and I'm like, man, that's a horrible policy, but he can do it. And they all come at him with, oh, well, that's unconstitutional and you can't do that. And this case, I don't really need to make a judgment on whether or not he should do it.
Right.
But this is a case where a lot of people think that what he did, he should do.
Yep.
And where I think he can't.
Oh, so now all of a sudden you think he can't do what he did.
I think this one,
on this
a
one.
lot of things he does, I'm like, I wish you wouldn't do that, but he can't. This one, I don't think he can.
I'm shocked he did it.
Wait, about the payroll? Are we talking about the payroll tax then, right?
This is kind of
the entire thing, the whole order. Yeah. So it's out of character for him, for one. It doesn't seem like the Republican move.
It's an election year.
Yeah, yeah. And some of it I think is agreeable. I would say, certain parts. The evictions I'm completely against. And you ask a lot of employers what this extra money is on unemployment doing for them to hire people.
Right.
It is destroying businesses. Yeah. You're giving people here we go, Phil. All right. I'm going to give you $800 to sit on your couch or do nothing. Or I'm going to pay you $350 to come work for me for a week. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously,
and aren't they saying
I know you personally, but how many people want to get off their ass and go work?
Right.
When you can make more money sitting on your ass? I don't like it.
And aren't they saying now that you don't even have to actually go apply for jobs to continue receiving it at this point?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if that was a part of it as well or not.
That isn't enforced enough at all, to be honest with you.
I think it's just a state of confusion right now. Right. And it's been confusing for the past few months and just trying to keep up with everything, and things are always constantly changing all the time. And I think that's why some business owners are like, we're just done. We're done with like people not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So here's what I would do if given dictatorial power, like he thinks he has apparently, is I would do the payroll tax, except I would make payroll tax optional. I think that'd be a great. Oh, what's going on there? I think that would be a great one to have be optional. If you want to pay it, then that boosts your Social Security and Medicare when you get to that age. You get to choose. It's voluntary.
Right.
Right. Yeah. With the unemployment insurance, ideally, I would love to see that be more like car insurance.
What's that? Car insurance.
So you pay. Actually, less like car insurance. More, I don't know. All the insurances that we have right now are required to have. It's like you should have the option. If you want to have unemployment insurance, you buy it, and you buy the Cadillac plan, you buy the silver plan, whatever you think you can afford, and whatever you think is going to benefit you. So if you pay in, if you lose your job, then you've got something to fall back on, and you can choose.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I think just those kinds of things. But I really don't think the president has control over these issues as much as he thinks that he does, because all the funding has to come from Congress, and he can't approve funding. He has to have it funded.
Gotcha. Well, how did the Democrats treat this? How did they react to him signing?
They're already suing him.
Even though what he did it's probably the most democratic move he's ever made in office.
They don't like it because it skips over the things that they wanted to pack in there.
What do they want to pack in there?
Mail-in voting.
Mail-in voting.
Okay.
they wanted to do some kind of like hazard pay for maybe for federal workers that are essential or something like that. I don't know all the details of it, but they put together their own package that they've been trying to get passed, and this bypasses that temporarily. So that's where all the negotiations have been going back and forth between the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Well, Pelosi wasn't. I know there was a lot of everyone was saying she was blocking it hard until she got the mail-in voting.
Right.
And
exactly.
Again, I'm just going off a news source, and who knows what's true and what's not. But that's seems. I think like your chest, Phil. Your chest. It's like focused right on it. It's like,
Wow.
Look at that chest. Yeah.
It's a good chest.
It is. Yeah. So yeah.
So that's a problem that we have in this country, I think, is that it shouldn't be that you have to pack in mail-in voting with unemployment insurance. They should be separate issues, and they should be voted on separately. Everything should be voted on individually. So you can't say, oh, well, he hates that one thing, so we can't get anything passed.
Yeah.
Silly. Ooh, what was that?
You got like a race car outside
Is there
your
a,
house, Mary?
is there a drag race happening outside your home?
You can hear that? That's
Oh, I can
funny.
hear it, yeah.
Well, I live near a busy street, so it makes sense.
That's
Sorry. Apologize.
Yeah.
Those
no.
motorcyclists.
I like that topic. That's a good one. That's something.
Should I have warned you?
No, because
Mm.
it was something where
I'll warn him.
I was shocked that he did it. And then I knew, I was like, I'm sure there's going to be some of the radical left wings that have a huge issue with it, when if it was signed by the Democratic Party, they'd
They'd be all over it.
they would love it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. And it's not like I'm pro anything. I think we all on this podcast are all pretty like-minded, and we can be swayed if you have a good enough opinion, I'm sure.
Right.
And so, I see it from both sides of the fence. And I would say at this point, as a Democrat, I would be pretty happy with the signing of this. Yeah. In my opinion. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How long are they holding off the student loan situation? Did they say?
I believe that it's currently extended through the end of the year.
I thought it was already to the end of the year.
No, it was supposed to be through August.
Oh, I see.
So this extends it another 4 months. Assuming that they don't block it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Can they block it?
Through court?
Yeah.
They can
that's
assume,
going to take a while.
maybe. This is the kind of thing when it affects the entire country,
Right.
they can get stuff in
Push.
right away. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like they can have this in court this week probably.
We should talk about the eviction part.
Yeah.
And so there's some people out there that rely on rent, correct? There's some people that are just landlords.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people find it, I don't know. It doesn't feel like freedom if you have to pay to live. And I know a lot of people fight that and stuff like that. And I can see where you're coming from. But giving people the opportunity to not pay their rent is the same thing as giving people the opportunity not to go to work and get paid. They're going to take it.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
I didn't.
I mean,
I don't have to pay my rent, but I do.
right. Well, and there is some people, but then there's a lot of people who abuse our system, of course, because if you can make money without working and you can save money and live for free, why wouldn't you? Is how most people see it. So, and I'm dealing with it personally. And let me tell you what, this person wasn't paying me for months before this lolockdown. And I was going through court with them, and I was trying to get them out. They've completely destroyed my apartment, a really nice apartment that we put a lot of money into.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get them out now.
So, well,
even though I started,
are you sure?
Oh, I know. I've been to the judge. The judge blocked it.
I wonder if it's just that the judge doesn't understand the order, because
and lawyers told me it can't happen. My own lawyer told me it can't happen.
I thought that it only extended to people who weren't able to pay their rent because of the pandemic. I mean, I understand. Here's the other side of the coin, right? If your only source of income is and I know it's different in this area, maybe someplace else it makes more sense. But if your only source of income is the bar, and he says you can't open,
Mm-hmm.
and so you don't have income, you shouldn't be kicked out of your house because the government told you couldn't go to work. On the other hand, they are giving you that money, but for a lot of people, it was delayed for a really long time.
True.
For a lot of people, it was delayed months.
Right.
So that shouldn't get people kicked out of their house.
No, but there needs to be. See, this is the problem with laws like this. Oh, with a lot of laws we have is sometimes they're just thrown in, and the recourse isn't. No one thinks about like, well, what's the advantages people can take, and what can happen. And I've been completely taken advantage of.
Yeah. Every time,
and I'm in small town Penn. Just imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine big cities and some of these guys, that's their only income.
Right.
They're landlords.
Yeah.
So if 90% of everybody stops paying their rent, like what are they doing?
It's crazy.
Because guess what? They can't get unemployment because they're a business owner. That's what they're calling them. So these landlords aren't getting paid. So now they're not going to have anywhere to live because no one's paying for their house. I hope you guys get where I'm coming from.
I thought that they were doing also something with mortgages where you could delay your payments on that as well.
Maybe
I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe some banks. I'm not sure either. So
I don't know. It's all kind of tricky. What I look at is there are a lot of times when even if motivations of government policies are really altruistic, that they never have the effect that they are expected to, or that they're intended to.
Yeah.
So it makes it really tricky.
Maybe I was naive because I thought, okay, so if you're helping out tenants, but is anyone helping out landlords? And I guess, Jesse, that's not the situation. Is there no help?
That is not the situation. They're getting zero help as far as I know.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
That's super sad too. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't overly affect me. I mean, it's one person and it's not in the world. But I always try to think about, I try to put myself in other people's shoes a lot of times and see where they're coming from. And I'm sure it's scary for a lot of those people who put a lot of money into real estate and fixed up places, and now they're not getting paid because sure, they're still paying on the buildings.
Absolutely.
They're still paying electric bills.
Right.
Taxes, they made me pay taxes this year, even though my business was closed. One of my apartments I couldn't evict. I was like, you guys are going to hit me with this much money in tax when I'm not able to open. And
were they like, yeah, why not?
And then the Penn Yan clerk goes, yeah, you pay taxes no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. And I'm like, thanks a lot. Or you can extend it and we can charge you a hellacious fee. And thank you for your help.
Unbelievable.
We appreciate it.
I haven't loved a lot of the stuff out of that office I've seen lately.
Yeah.
But that's another.
I'm sorry.
For another day.
Anyways, we don't have to stay on the negative, right?
No, we shouldn't.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff.
But maybe that's something you could bring up to Tom Reed or anybody else and say, hey, like, I'm sure you have connections with Tom Reed, don't you, Jesse? Yeah. Like, hey, what's up with this?
My dad does. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My dad.
Jesse Sr.
Yeah. A big Scopes member. If anybody
Scopes
knows what Scopes is, but
yeah,
my dad loves that stuff.
Oh,
so
there's another one. So we've got Scopes, but do you have any thoughts? Have you seen what's going on with the NRA?
I did see that. Yeah.
Did you see that, Marianne?
Nope.
Marianne doesn't have.
This is why I tune in the podcast, because I don't know what's going on. You tell me.
So the NRA is being attacked by New York State right now.
New York State? Why?
Yes, because they're based in New York State.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Is it? That's the main hub.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like they could be incorporated, whatever. They could be legally anywhere they want. And whoever was in charge of that really messed it up by not just moving them someplace else.
Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yeah, someplace.
A lot better options in New York.
But so they're based in New York. So that's why New York is able to come after them the way that they have been and continue to. And I think part of it might be, and this is one of my things about the NRA, I think part of the reason why they stay in New York is because them being constantly under attack is one of their main ways to generate revenue. That
Sorry
was
about that. Sorry about that.
That's one of the main ways that
And-
they generate new revenue is
It was Flat Marianne.
by
I'm sorry.
constantly being under attack.
Oh, right, because negative publicity is just as good as positive.
It's
if
better
not
for them.
right?
Yeah. Anytime they can say, oh, they're after us, it drives donations for them.
Yeah.
But I think what they've done for our Second Amendment is atrocious. I don't think that they've helped us.
The NRA.
I don't think the NRA has helped us.
They've helped. I mean, they put a lot of money toward helping the Second
They
Amendment.
put a lot of money towards stirring up controversy. If you look at the policies that they've actually done, a lot of the things that they've done that they've jumped on board with are things that have been negative.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's like anything else. There's positives to the NRA, and then there's negatives. But there's
So
a lot
here's
of
the other
times
problem, right?
where
So they're a
they-
nonprofit.
They pay for people's lawyers who are having Second Amendment issues.
Oh yeah,
There's
because
been-
they love controversy. Yeah.
Well, even when it's right to do so, they've
Sure.
done
Yeah.
good things.
So everything that they do is not horrible,
Right.
but I think there are a lot of other Second Amendment organizations that are a lot better.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, true Second Amendment organizations like the NRA, or that, because what would you call Scopes?
I think that in a lot of ways, Scopes is like an educational organization based around the Second Amendment. And I think education is one of the best things that we can do.
Right.
Education and normalizing, hey, look, like, I know that we're all required to carry concealed if we're going to carry, but like, here it is. It's not hurting you. Like, it's going to be okay. You're in a room with 7 people that have a gun and none of them shot anybody. None of them are planning to.
Yeah, for the amount of people that have guns and the guns there are, you're pretty safe.
Yep.
You really, I mean, I'm sure. Let's not get too much into it because
No, you don't have to go crazy on
I
it.
mean,
So what I
it
think
gets scary.
So back to the lawsuit though, is that I think that they are going to take down.
I'm so sorry.
They are going to take down some of the leadership of the NRA because
Okay.
some of the abuses of the funding of the NRA that they've done are not really compatible with being a nonprofit.
Right.
Okay.
Can we get to the Scotch part now?
I'd like to get to the Scotch
Now
part.
that we're bringing up big topics.
Can I get a little ice?
Yeah. So this is the fun ice thing I brought for you.
Wait, what is this? Is it a new thing?
What do you mean?
New scotch?
No, Scotch has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's been around since I think the early
This one has been around
1500s?
since 1815.
1815. Good year.
Scotch
And,
is not my thing. It's too harsh.
Well,
Well, sometimes harsh things are good for you. Harsh criticism. Sometimes it helps.
It makes
I
you
get
stronger.
I get a
Makes you
lot of it.
Do you? From who?
People who
Bill?
come into my businesses and criticize, saying that that's something funny. You ever have somebody come in your business and tell you how you're supposed to do it? You've ever had like an unruly person before?
Nope.
Really? Well,
Nope.
you haven't?
Nah. I had maybe one time a couple ladies were like, you need to move back.
I'm gonna have to come in more often.
Yeah.
I think you actually tell me to do stuff all the time, and I'm like, shh.
I always love
Flat Mary's acting up.
I love when people are like, you should do this, your hours are wrong, you should add this to the menu. And I always go, hey, you could buy this and do it yourself if you think you can do it any better.
Yeah.
And they don't like that comment. So,
No.
Yeah.
No.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for bringing this today.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Happy to. I thought I'd bring it on a day when Marianne wasn't going to be in studio because she shouldn't have to smell it.
I don't like that smell or any of that stuff.
I brought this bottle with me to the city,
Okay.
and a couple of my friends that I worked with came up after a shift one night, and we shared a glass of Jesse's bourbon, which
Mm.
was highly appreciated. And then I opened up the scotch and I had a glass of that. And the guy goes, do you smell smoke? It's like, is there a fire in here?
Oh, wow.
It's that smoky.
Yeah, it's very peaty.
Yeah. And it's
Cool.
hot. Like this is one that you want let a little water get to, just like the bourbon.
Isn't there a saying? I forget whose saying is you should never put water in another man's whiskey. Have you ever heard that? It was like a big saying. It was like, I think it was Winston Churchill. It's like it's a quote I have on my wall. Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
You're never supposed to water down whiskey.
Well, you are supposed to add water to whiskey, but just not.
a lot.
Another
you had your
man's.
own, because you
Yeah.
should have the choice
Right. Yeah.
of how much water is in your whiskey.
So let's talk about the studio. Yeah, the studio. It is nice. It's cool. We
Who asked about the studio?
isn't that what that says?
No, she wants to know about your mustache.
Oh, about the stash. Oh, I thought she said studio.
No, she wants to know about your mustache.
Stash.
Do you need glasses?
Yeah, he can't read.
I
very
can't
good.
read. I thought she said studio. Oh,
Studio
studio's nice. Let's stay off the subject of the stash. Maybe I'm just like
You don't
trying
wanna
to block
talk about
the
the
stash. No,
What do you think, Crystal? Is it
it's very fashionable.
attractive?
I
What?
think it's offensive.
It's offensive.
Slightly offensive.
You know what?
Do you feel offended?
I feel like the stash would go over much better if you drove a Ferrari,
Yes. Well,
And-
no.
and
Something
it's-
80s.
Can It's Rare?
an '80s Ferrari.
Can It's Rare afford a Ferrari?
We need like 3 more sponsors.
Okay.
Actually, maybe my friend Ed Van Stein can just get us a ride in a Ferrari.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Starting up Finger Lakes Rides, they'll be going up here. They're going to be going live right around Cuca Lake starting tomorrow, actually, on August 10th. So that's really exciting. People will be able to get a ride home at night.
That's
I don't
cool.
think people know about it, Phil. You should
It's
probably
like-
talk about it. No?
Actually, Ed's going to be our guest next week. And
Your
so I'm
guest.
really looking forward to that. He's going to be in studio with us, and then I'm going to take him around town and show him around a little bit.
Nice.
But he's a good guy. I grew up with him, and he started his business down around Hornell and Alfred, and he's moving up into the Finger Lakes. He said he's got about 10 drivers around Cuca Lake right now, and it's kind of like Uber. So he does food delivery and rides, and I mean, I'll let him talk more about it next week. But it's exciting that you'll be able to call him. And he's all about saying yes to be able to do what he can anytime he can.
Yep.
So it'll be nice to be able to get a ride home if you've been out someplace.
One DWI can ruin your life.
Oh yeah,
It's such a
I'll pay.
such a good business. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yep, I'll pay anytime.
$100 it doesn't is I'm not saying it's 100, but even $100 is better than 10,000 in lawyer fees.
Mhm.
So I think it's a great thing to have around here.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've spent nights drinking water sitting in my car before I would turn the key,
Yep.
just because I mean, it's scary. You don't want to drive drunk. A, you don't want to get in trouble, and B, you don't want to hurt anyone else. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a
And it's a
Great
service. I
business
mean, it's
idea,
not
so.
just for people that have been out drinking. It's
But-
just a great
but
service
it's
in
a
general.
it's a needed
But
service
for those
that.
people, it
Yeah.
makes a bigger difference.
Yeah. And it's also nice to have if you need to get somewhere and you can't get a ride. It's always nice to be able to call us. I don't know if we want to call it a taxi service, but a car service. So
Yeah. I don't know. And it's, there are a lot of good services that have popped up. You got Cuca to Go that's doing the food delivery. Cuca Taxi is doing stuff, during regular kind of work type hours.
yeah.
But now to have one that's going to be open all the time will be really great.
What do you guys think about, especially like Marianne? What do you think about a water taxi? How cool would that be?
That happened like years ago, and the headquarters was in Hammondsport. I think it's a great idea. I think, but the logistics and everything makes it a little trickier, and insurance is always such a huge bloodsucker as well too. But then also on top of how long it takes from point A to point B. But there was a water taxi in Hammondsport, remember? That was
I don't.
and you don't? Oh, yeah, no, it was around. I kind of lost track of all that.
We'll
I
have
don't.
to-
It must
we'll have
not
to
be a
talk
thing
to
anymore.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to Adi about that, but I do think that he mentioned something like that in the plan.
Yeah. I mean,
So
how
that'd be pretty neat.
how
and
cool
and
would it
food
be?
delivery on the lake too.
Food delivery.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Wow.
Well, I don't know if I should give away his whole business plan.
no,
but
maybe not.
but
Food delivery
I'll,
on the lake.
talk about all those things when he comes in next week.
Can you imagine being just like you're on your cottage and you're like, hey, I'd like to go to the wine bar for brunch today and have
Yeah.
mimosa. And it's like, yeah, sure, we'll be there in like 15 minutes to grab you and
Mhm.
take you to the wine bar.
Yeah, and not
Yeah.
ever have to leave the water.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
think-
can. I mean,
yeah.
you can have a car come pick you up.
Yeah.
If you could have a boat come pick you up,
Way cooler.
way cooler.
Way cooler.
Yeah,
Usually have to pay double for that kind of action.
I would think so too. Well, it's water. And you have to think about too. Sometimes it gets a little choppy out there. But the water taxi was a thing for a little bit. But I don't know if everything worked out like it should work out. It's easier on land. How about that versus water? But it'd
Absolutely.
be nice. I never got to experience any of the cruise ships that were on Cuca Lake. There was two of them. There was one from Esperanza Rose, and then there was a Cuca Maid, and I never got to experience any of those, which is a bummer.
The original was the Viking.
The
boat.
Viking.
The Viking.
I did go on the Viking.
Yeah, that was the original. Is a
Yeah.
wood.
Well,
I
that
think-
wasn't the original.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
I got my Barrington facts down pretty good because it was in.
Oh,
it was
I'm
in
sure he
the town of
does.
Barrington. So.
I know there were a lot of steamboats.
Oh yeah. But
On the
Mhm.
lake.
it was the first like cruise. Like you get on, you can have dinner, you can like cruise around, like
Okay.
that kind of style.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm
I know,
pretty sure.
I know there were a lot of cruise boats all the way back into the 1800s, or whenever steamboats became
Yeah.
came into existence.
We should. I like the steam boats. I think they're cool, and like the steam from the trains. Like,
Do you want to build one?
yeah, do it, Marianne.
Alright. Are you in?
I don't have time to build anything.
What?
Come on.
I just did kinetic
yeah.
sand with Portia the other day.
What if it was a
Flat
tiny?
Marianne, would you
Flat-
help? us?
Totally 3D Marianne. We're going to flat Marianne. I like the eyeball. Oh my god. Was there like guy ones too there, Phil? Or is it just a princess one?
What?
Was there cowboy ones too with the wooden masks?
There were a couple faces. I just picked the one that looked like you.
Oh,
And,
okay.
well, Portia and I picked it out together. Then I found the eyes, and
You found the hair.
we got the hair. It's up. It's in a bun. I know you got your hair down today.
I do.
I really enjoy Flat Marianne. She agrees with almost everything I'm saying today.
Very agreeable.
Yeah. So,
She's very accommodating.
I think she's gonna be here
Permanently.
probably whenever you're not in studio.
yeah.
Well, no, yeah.
just
I at
don't-
least change up my outfits there. You
Yeah,
know what I
maybe.
mean?
Yeah,
You told me you
maybe.
liked purple.
I do. I'm just saying I should wear a different shirt at least.
Okay, we'll send a different shirt.
Flat Marianne actually complimented my mustache when I came in. So while I was taping her to the chair.
Oh, that's so crazy.
We don't tape 3D Marianne to chairs.
Oh, just Flat Marianne.
Thank you for clarifying that. Though I looked very uncomfortable last week. Thank you. My back feels a lot better now too.
I don't think you should talk about taping people with a mustache like this.
No.
It's not a good look. You should just leave taping people out of everything. Sorry.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how smoky the scotch is.
How
My
good is it? How smooth is
Lord.
that?
It's like, so you've had mezcal, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like, so mezcal's the minor leagues, and this is like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the big league.
This is, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Lafroig. Cardias.
Cardias.
Sure. I don't know. I said that really Latin, and I
This
doubt
is
that's
like
how they say it.
this is like a special batch of Lafroig. It's a single malt triple wood.
Should we let Flat Marianne try it?
We should let Flat Marianne try it.
And I am giving it to Flat Marianne.
It's a special bottle. They don't produce it like this all the time. So it's
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
Cool.
I only share with good friends and Jesse.
And just
And flat friends.
flat
And flat ones, yes.
Oh, God.
That's great.
That's so cool. So,
Man.
hey, last week we touched on TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's retouch. Let's stop talking about touching.
Can we talk?
Let's go back to talking about TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok.
I stand by my original statement.
Which was?
Yeah, for people that weren't there.
So Trump is banning TikTok in 45 days from whatever, a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I believe, I'll add on to my original statement. I do believe that it's because it's a Chinese company and he doesn't want our information going there. And he's able to use that as his official reason. But I also think that he's banning them to push their hand, pressure them to sell and to get them a better price. Because as it comes out, he's trying to get us a cut.
Yeah. Right. And that we had this conversation at the Laurentide. For people who haven't been to the Laurentide, it's a good place to drink beer and debate. It's great.
A lot of debating.
Absolutely,
It's a debating place.
A lot of
Is there-
open-minded people there that like,
yeah, a lot of intellectuals, a lot of
Yeah.
people. You know, it's not overly loud. You can have a conversation. So, actually, I took time to listen or to rethink about this whole thing, Phil, and it was, I kind of agree with you now. So, it seems like Trump likes to keep money in the U.S. and why wouldn't he want to bring more jobs and more money to the U.S.? So, I kind of changed my opinion a little bit that maybe it is, for that. But at the same time, we don't want China having our personal information or being able to track individuals or being able to track any of that stuff. All it takes is one congressman's child to download it and, they get their information, who in turn gets the congressman's information. In turn, how far do we go?
Well, that's one dimension of it. We've got obviously two dimensions here.
Yes.
And I think another part of it is our information in aggregate is important. Our habits, our data. That's why the NSA collects it.
Right.
They collect it. China collects it. Everybody's collecting our data because while I don't matter, a million of us do.
Right.
And if they can figure out trends to be able to find, better ways to control us and take money from us, that's what they'll do.
Yeah. No, the government likes money. Who doesn't like money? I gotta quit touching that.
I don't know.
Steel. Yeah. Is that steel? What is that? Yeah,
It's steel. Yeah.
My watch keeps dinging it. Ding.
That's okay.
Yeah. What do you think, Marianne?
About TikTok? About
Yeah. How do you feel about TikTok? What do you think about it?
I
Even
have-
from
I
a
have
parenting standpoint, what would you think?
Have
about
you seen TikTok?
No, I don't even know what TikTok is. There's like a percentage of people like me who know nothing about TikTok. I've never experienced TikTok before.
What about Tic Tacs? Do you know?
I love TikTok.
Okay.
I know more about TikTok just from the economic and policy standpoint than I ever do about the actual. I've got no idea how it actually works.
Well, I don't think I've ever.
I just know that
seen
everybody
it.
does dances.
Yeah,
And they
Right.
were talking about nurses doing TikTok videos.
it's creepy that you see a lot of little kids using it, and it's like, and there's weird people on the internet, and I don't think little kids should be doing dances and without it being like I don't know.
Yeah, not on video.
No,
It's weird.
no, it's weird, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of creepy people.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Like, I'm just not.
The
not
whole idea
with
behind
it.
it's kind of creepy.
It is.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Well, if it gets banned,
I'm
I
not going to
won't-
lose sleep.
I
over
won't
it.
be hurt.
Well,
and
they're
I will,
suing.
and I think it's a good idea. And
I believe they're suing.
Are they?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I
TikTok's suing?
also heard that Twitter was negotiating with them in addition to Microsoft.
Really,
Yeah.
that's
So,
what Jack Dorsey
the
needs
plot
is
thickens.
another
Right.
social media.
Well, even when you're a corporation like that, sometimes you even buy stuff like that just to bury it and replace it with so that you're not competing with it anymore.
Right. Can we talk about how social media determines elections in the era we're in? how all it takes is social media being able to block one view and leave the one that they support open. I mean, how big of an issue is that?
It's a huge influence, and it's a abuse of power, honestly.
But
Yeah.
Trump won.
Trump did win.
Trump won.
So explain that.
Well, and that's the thing, he did win, but at that point,
He won in spite of it.
Facebook was actually building Trump up because all it was doing was causing controversy for them. So they loved having him on.
He leveraged it.
Yeah. But you get to companies like Twitter and YouTube and, ones like that, and they're kind of like, really hard left wing.
All the mass media, or all the like regular mainstream media too,
is very left wing.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about this again at the Laurentide, a couple beers in. Try the ESB if you're at the Laurentide. It's delicious. It really is. Yeah. So we were chatting how, when it comes to like journalists and people who take those kind of jobs, I think they are naturally left-wing people. You don't see many right-wing people say, I want to be a journalist. I want to work for this company. It's more of, and they're based in Seattle, and they're based in New York City, and they're based in these, left-wing areas. And I think, so without purposely doing it, sometimes I think it just happens because the majority of the company feels that way. So, I mean, they have a lot of bias, and I think they have a lot of control. So
I think
maybe too much.
I think that's part of where I don't want to call us like a media company.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of what us and people like us can contribute is different points of view.
Yeah.
And I think that we're good people, fair people who like we'll think through an idea, and if it's a good idea to us, we'll support it. And if not, then, we'll say that too. We'll be honest about all those things. And I think that we can kind of fill a niche there.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool.
I think that's what a lot of our viewers like about it.
Yeah. And Marianne,
and listeners,
I didn't get your full opinion. So you agree? You think that like social media plays a huge part?
Well, I mean, obviously it does. I think people focus too much on social media, where I don't really think it's a good way to like share ideas. But I think people focus too much on it, and they waste too much energy on it, where they don't have that social interaction, which is probably not such a horrible thing because people are trying to socially distance. I gotta go soon, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
No
So, but this is kind of like an interesting, I haven't had the opportunity to, I don't know how parents honestly do work in homeschool. That's all I'm going to say. It's very, very hard.
That's going to be crazy. I mean,
well, and that's what's rolling out soon. People need to go back and forth. And I know a couple of my friends who were able to stay home as of now, but I think some employers are saying, hey, we need you back to work. And I think parents are like, how do I work and how do I homeschool? That is a highly debatable topic right now.
As we hear mom in the background.
Right. But I gotta let you guys go.
Yeah, we'll catch you later.
Okay, Marion.
We'll catch you next week.
I look forward to when you guys want to have kids, and I'll fully support you. Just
Cool.
let you know that.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
See you guys.
And back
And-
to
All right. Flat Marianne. All right. I'm just going to go back. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that's actually something that we do need to talk about at some point.
Yeah.
Especially when we've got Marianne here with us, is what's happening with schools right now. And that's what, a lot of people have a lot of different things that they're worried about right now.
Yeah.
And that's a big one on a lot of people's mind. And for me, I work at a college. I've talked to people that work at elementary schools, high schools, private schools, parents, homeschools, and all the different kinds of schools. And for me, like, as I see all the preparation that's gone into this, and I see all of the different worries that people have, and all the different possibilities of, maybe it goes great,
Or
or maybe it fails immediately. maybe it like blows up and becomes horrible. Maybe, we get halfway through and we realize, this isn't going to work. And it feels a lot like a space exploration mission. It's like you really hope you can get into orbit and not end up like the Challenger,
Right.
And if you do, you give it a round of applause and then you focus on getting the rest of the job done.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at, is we've done all this preparation and I'm waiting for us to get students back on campus. And then
that's going to be interesting.
And then we're going to take, my big thing is I'm watching to see what happens for the first 10 days.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to take it 1 week at a time and see how things go and how we respond and how students are and how faculty are and staff. And there's a million different factors, but it could be okay. It really could be.
I'm just glad I'm not in charge. I wouldn't want.
I know.
I would not want to be the one who makes these decisions, because you start affecting kids.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Yeah. Well, and families. I
don't want to be that person.
Kids could just be. I mean, kids could be the vector. That's what we're worried about. Really, is in addition to it being something that affects kids, for it to be something where it spreads through the kids to the families.
Yeah.
So that's really worrying for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think right now it's the times that we're in is I've only been alive for 28 years. At this point, I think there's from what I can remember, is the most fear I've ever seen. Like, people are scared. Genuinely, a lot of people are scared, and not only scared of the virus, scared of the social justice movements going on, scared
Absolutely.
of what's going on, what's going to happen to the economy, what's going to happen with their families. Just people are I just think everyone needs to just take a deep breath, and everything's going to be okay. We're all going to make it.
I agree.
Just follow whatever makes you happy. If you want to follow, if you want to support social justice movements, racial movements, support them. If you don't, avoid them. If you want to wear a mask, wear it. If you don't go places where you're supposed to wear a mask. It's just do what makes you happy, take a deep breath, and try to stay out of situations you don't want to be in, even though sometimes it's nice to make yourself uncomfortable and be in those type of situations. But there's times where it's maybe for your mental health, just avoid them, and just relax. I think everyone just needs to relax,
Yeah, to some degree.
It's easy to get overwhelmed. Trust me, I own 2 businesses and I have a full-time job. I get overwhelmed a lot, and you can sit there and you can be scared and you can be anxious and you feel panic, or you can just sit back and be listen, you can't control everything, and you're going to do the best you can.
Yeah.
And
that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's how people have to go through life. I mean, if you're going to be successful, you have to consider the possible negative consequences of things. You have to consider those.
Right.
But you have to try to achieve positive consequences. You have to do something. You have to sometimes have a little courage and go out and take things on.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then you're going to sit in a ball on your couch and you're not going to get that thing done that could make you successful. You just won't do it.
Yeah. Phil and I have these conversations a lot together. That's why I think the podcast works, is because, we get pretty deep when we, for people that aren't potheads, we get pretty deep conversations, we're just chatting. But, it's one of those things.
No offense, potheads. We love you.
Yeah, of course we do. Why wouldn't we?
We aren't you, but we love you.
Phil's a libertarian. He's for free. He's
I support your right
Yeah.
to smoke marijuana.
That's right.
And I don't even do it. I don't have to, I want people to respect your rights, even though it doesn't affect me.
There you go. Yeah. And back to I think I've told you this before, Phil. I've learned more by failing than I ever had by succeeding. And I mean,
you don't have to be successful in everything.
I'm sure there's a quote by somebody way smarter than me that's probably already been quoted, but I can tell you right now, every time I've messed up and done something negative, the only thing I take for it was, well, I'm not going to be doing that ever again. It's that was a big mistake. And where if you succeed,
Wayne Gretzky,
you give yourself false false positives when you succeed because you're like, oh, well, that works.
Sure.
That works because
Yeah.
sometimes it works because it was lucky,
Yeah.
you know,
And then you keep going.
but then next time you're not going to be lucky. So
That's
it's
okay.
like, yeah, but
Yeah.
so that's why failing, at least you know now, whoa, this can happen. And I never want to feel that again or be in that situation again.
You just
So
work. Yeah.
I'm not going to
You
do
change
that
something
again.
up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think failure is good as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of those deals.
Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Was that him or Michael Jordan?
Well, everybody, it is Wayne Gretzky.
Is it? Okay.
100% Wayne Gretzky,
Okay.
but a lot of people attribute it to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I thought that I
Falsely.
thought that was Michael
Falsely.
Jordan.
Yes.
Really?
Incorrectly. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, basketball fans, but ice hockey's still better.
I'm a basketball fan, so
Okay.
on your team.
Sorry, Jesse. Hockey's still better.
Hockey's fun. I always like when they get into brawls. That's the best part. That's the only reason I watch is for the fights. I'm an MMA guy, man. I enjoy it, so that's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't think that they have quality fights. I mean, they just
some of them are pretty
Well,
hellacious.
yeah,
They're
well,
pretty
I-
cool, man.
yeah, but as far as like technical quality, I mean,
I was reading that there's this school in Canada where you like hockey school where they teach you how to fight.
probably
Yeah, they teach you how to hockey fight.
stupid.
I want to go. Like, yeah, I just want to learn how to hockey.
If you want a
fight.
hockey fight, I got a couple guys that can show you.
Show me some moves.
Yeah, I used to work at a very popular, very well-known boarding school for hockey, for elite hockey players that, took me around the world and to several national championships and otherwise. And there were a couple of our athletes, couple of our hockey players that I don't think I don't think we ever made it through a whole weekend without me fixing up a bloody nose. You know what I'm saying?
Scrapping.
I had one kid that would always he had a permanent cut on the bottom of his chin because he'd somehow get it busted open every game, sometimes through fighting.
Couple uppercuts. That'll
Just-
do that to you.
Yeah, I never liked it. They'd come off, they get kicked out of the game and at that level, and they'd come off, and I'd have to go fix them up, and I'd be like, I don't even want to look at you, but I have to because
Right.
I gotta just hold your chin up for a second.
It was looking at Flat Marianne. What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like fighting that much either.
Yeah. You're not into hockey. Okay, I understand.
It's okay. I understand fighting in hockey, and I understand how it kind of helps. It helps enforce some things. A lot of the hockey players think that it can change the momentum of a game. A lot of hockey players say, it can help, keep players in check so that they don't do things repeatedly that are dirty, because they know that they'll have to fight for it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, and yeah, actually, baseball. I know Newbie says basketball has brawls, but baseball had a famous brawl, not super famous, between two hockey players that are, I think, still on the same team as each other, Jack Johnson and Sidney Crosby.
They got into a scrap.
No.
Oh.
Somebody, I believe the story is that Sidney Crosby got beaned. He was playing baseball.
Oh, playing baseball.
He was playing baseball
Okay.
in high school, and he got beaned or something. And Jack Johnson came running in and pummeled the other guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
It's part of the legend.
So those hockey guys, they're cut from a different cloth. They're pretty.
They are,
they're some
and
tough dudes.
they're not only are they tough dudes, but they're some of the nicest people that I've ever met in my life. They really care about doing things the right way. They really care about, I mean, I never had a day where they didn't offer to help me with something, where they didn't thank me, where they didn't, come in and shake my hand and look me in the eye.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot. That was one of the best groups of people I've ever been involved with.
The hockey guys.
Yeah. I certainly miss that culture. We have a good culture where I am now, but I miss that culture. It's unique.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And then now to where you are, where you cover multiple sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you're probably more well versed doing this though, because you deal with different types of injuries and different type of attitudes, personalities.
Oh yeah.
It's probably good. Teaches you new things.
Yeah, I love learning new things.
Yeah.
So
Who doesn't, right? That's why you should listen to this podcast.
why we're here.
Because we don't, I would say, I don't want to speak for Phil, but I don't want to change anyone's mind here. I just want people to hear my opinion.
Yeah. I want them to see a different perspective,
right, and see where we are. But we're not telling you anything that we want you to believe. We just want you to hear our opinion, and maybe it will change your opinion. But at the same time, I think we're pretty reliable, or we try to
just open your mind.
Yeah, just a little different.
And part of what I like about us and Marianne and what we do here is there are a lot of people right now who, especially with the current political climate, who when there's a different side that disagrees with them, whether they're from the right, from the left, from some different angle that who knows what angle it is.
Yeah.
And they see that people from the side that, the people that are, so, okay, we can say, maybe we don't like Antifa, right?
Right.
Well, we see Antifa being violent or causing damage, and we say, and we start to become uncivil the way that we respond to them.
Right.
And I don't think we do that. I think that, we look at them and we say, look, you shouldn't do that, but I'm not going to lower to your level because we're good. And so when we see people who are good, we treat them good.
Right.
And when we see people who are doing some crazy stuff, we tell them you shouldn't do that, but we still treat them good.
Sometimes.
Usually.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that are.
If there's the difference between like an act of,
right.
If you see an act of violence, you're gonna respond to it,
right,
in a violent way.
I'm a man of
but
action.
if you see somebody presenting an idea that you don't like, you're gonna tell them that it's a bad idea.
Yeah,
maybe,
Maybe.
probably.
Remember how?
I hope so.
I think you forgot. I'm a man of action. I got the mustache.
Jesse's
I fight
got
crime.
a mustache, so
I fight crime.
Jesse might run you over with his Ferrari.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think I never try. I think the biggest problem we have is that the loudest voices are the opinions we take, and it's such a small amount of those people.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just, people get loud, and that's who you hear. So when I do talk bad about the radical left, I have many times, and that doesn't mean I have a problem with left-wing people, because it's the loud minority of the radical left that I probably don't agree with the rest.
Right.
I have many friends that seem that are that way, and we get along fine, and we can have decent conversations. Same thing. I mean, it goes with far-leaning right people. Like, you can't smoke weed and you can't do this, and things that I don't agree with. I think I'm both here. It's like, again, I think that's why our podcast is awesome.
I just think it's important not to go to other people's level. Stay at your level. Do your thing. Like, be you. Do the thing that you think is right, instead of, trying to go to what other people's level is.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where I'm at. But
good way to think, Phil.
I try. I don't know.
Try. So
it's just the way it is.
Should we talk a little bit about? I know we're kind of running past our time, but who
We got
cares?
time.
Because
We got time.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And Newbie's still listening.
What do you want to talk about?
What's up, Newbie? How you doing, buddy? Hey, Newbie, if you got a topic, throw it here. But before we do that, should we talk about how we have a couple guests that are going to be coming on soon? Like that would be cool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I thought we were going to talk about something completely more controversial than that.
No. Well, I just thought it'd be fun to like throw that out there that, your friend, or
Yeah.
I think he's
so
your
next
friend.
Sunday.
I'm not sure.
I'll claim him. I'll claim him as a friend, as an old friend. I haven't had much chance to interact with him in the past few years, but as I've come back into the community and he's kind of coming up this way a little bit more, Ed Van Stein is going to be coming on next week, and we'll talk about all sorts of stuff, including his new car service, Finger Lakes Rides. Actually, I'm not sure how new it is. I think he's been operating it for a little while, but it'll be new to us. And Do you want to talk about the other ones?
Oh, and Marla.
And Marla.
Marla.
We love
Hedworth
Marla.
From the Laurentide Beer Company.
She's a gem.
She's awesome. And
Ologist.
she is a gemologist. That was great. You got to use that when she's here. She's
Yeah.
gonna love it. She's that's going to be cool because obviously we love the Laurentide. Sure, we have some bias, but it's an awesome place. And she's when you ever talk to a gemologist in your life?
Not about gems. I tried to talk about fossils, and she said that she thought they were cool when she was a kid, and then she was like, "Yeah, but I don't do that
She's
anymore."
like, "That's a geologist,
Yeah.
not a gemologist."
It's an archaeologist.
Yeah, or whatever she was saying. I was like,
Anthropologist.
and you struck out, Phil.
Dang.
Good try. It's
Yeah.
like when you were telling me about the whole not liking onions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Now I
like
have to
onions
tell
either.
that story,
Yeah,
don't
tell
I?
the story. It's a funny one.
It's a weird story. I don't know if anybody's interested in this, but when I was in
funny.
grad school, I mean, this is a story I don't think I'll ever forget. But when people try to find anything possible that they could possibly have in common to talk to somebody, and it's like they really have to reach because they're not anything alike.
It's usually in a romantic situation.
Oh yeah, I mean, 'cause otherwise you would just
Right.
go about your business. But I was in grad school in Virginia, and it was, we came in early to work preseason football, and there was football on campus, us athletic training students, a cheer camp, and a band camp. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but
And you go through lunch in the cafeteria because that was open for us. There wasn't much time for anything else. And I'm in line, and I'm behind a nice young lady, and between us is somebody who was not on the football team. Was the other option. Band.
oh, the band.
He
Oh, I
was
didn't.
a band
I
kid.
didn't know it was the band kid.
Yeah, it was a
that makes
band
it
kid.
even funnier.
He didn't have
I thought
anything,
it was
like,
a football.
He had
kid.
like no basis for talking to this woman.
Oh, jeez.
And so he's trying, and then they get up to this the one meal item, and she goes, "Ah, I hate onions," and he goes, "Oh my God, me too." Just like any way to get in. And
How'd it turn out?
shot down.
He was trying to bat out of his league.
He was,
You
yeah.
gotta try to stay in your league a little bit.
He was down like Jester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in the minors, you shouldn't go up and try to hit.
I
against the
disagree with that.
Against the MLB pitchers.
Nope, I disagree.
You're
I disagree. I
gonna-
don't believe in leagues because if I did, I wouldn't. My league would be very like. Is there a 4A or 1A? Is there like a half an A?
I'm not sure. I shouldn't talk baseball. I don't know much about it. Yeah, no. I try to tell my friends that all the time. Like, for your ego, just don't try it. Don't try to bat that high. It's not gonna feel good. It's not.
What's the worst?
Good.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
People hate rejection, right? Think about rejection. Think about there's no worse feeling than like, hey, like, you're like up this girl, you're feeling yourself, and then all of a sudden she's like, no, and you're just like, oh, like, eat, yeah. I mean, I've never had it happen personally, but I'm sure other people have experienced that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The mustache it's a killer, kills them, knocks them dead,
I bring in this beard,
knocks them dead every
and
time.
no problem.
No
problem. So I don't believe in leagues. I don't believe in leagues because if I was in a league, I don't know, or maybe I transcend leagues. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe you're like a pinch hitter, you're good. Like they bring you in just to like bat for the pitcher and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's intimidating for a lot of women actually
What?
to talk to me.
Maybe.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it could be. It could be sometimes. It's that you have a very you don't mind throwing your opinion around. It's like bam, you walk in the room, and you're like, Phil's here. Hello.
What does Bill think about this? Because he'll tell you.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't have to ask him. You're gonna hear. Yep. Fun. So
It's okay. I like to talk to people.
yeah, that's good. What did Newbie? I asked him for a
Oh
topic.
man, newbie.
What do you think?
What's
What
he
do you want to
saying?
talk about?
We wrapped up his social philosophy, which is good. He said what is the best cut of meat and the best way to cook it?
It's a ribeye steak. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
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 The marbleization of the ribeye, I don't think you can possibly get that in any other cut.
So what do you think is the best way to cook it?
Oh, well, how I would cook it doesn't mean it's the best way, but what I usually do is sear it on a cast iron pan,
Yeah.
and then finish it in the oven. But it's like the way I sear it, right? So you get a hot pan, throw in like just oil, get it hot, and then you salt and pepper the steak. Bam, sear it. I throw in garlic cloves and some rosemary, and then butter baste it real quick, and then throw it in the oven and finish it. That's how I do it. But I'm not saying it's the best way.
The best way to make a ribeye starts with picking a great ribeye, which I think we can agree on.
Well, of course.
The next step starts 24 hours before you ever cook it. 24 hours before you cook the steak, you salt it. And then you, first you dry it, and you salt it.
Well, I didn't know we were getting
24 hours ahead of time.
If you got to pat it dry,
Dry
of
it,
course, everyone knows.
Dry it, salt it, put it on a rack in the refrigerator.
Okay.
So it gets, the surface gets dry, right? Then the next day, when it's time to cook the steak, you're gonna do a reverse sear.
Whoa.
Do you know what a reverse sear is?
I do.
Have you ever done a reverse sear?
I have not. I've seen it.
The reverse sear is the best way that you can make a steak. So essentially the way that works is you want to get the steak up to temperature so it's evenly cooked throughout.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You always take it out of the fridge about 2-3 hours for you. Cook it.
Right. So you got, So you want to bring it up to room temperature before you cook it, but then you reverse sear. So you basically, you can put it in the oven. I use a convection oven, and you put it in there and you let it get up to, your rare or medium rare level, wherever you're going for. And then all you have to do, get your cast iron until it starts to smoke a little bit, hit it with butter.
Okay.
Throw your steak in there, just like 30 to 40 seconds on each side to get that sear on it. Then you get that perfect crust on the outside, and it's not overdone around the edges. It's done perfectly all the way through.
You should be able to do that when you sear it and bake it. I always get it like pretty perfect.
It's harder to get a good sear,
like a medium rare, because I just like in a hot ass pan.
It's hard to get a good sear without that overcooked area around the edges.
Okay,
but if you do a reverse sear, it'll be perfect all the way through.
And that's the best way at home, because we all know the best way in a restaurant is to buy a $20,000 infrared charbroiler, because that's how you do it. But none of us have that. But that's the best way to have a steak.
A close second is just throw that sucker on the grill.
Well, that's what I was gonna bring that up. Just a grilled ribeye is awesome.
It is.
Or a tomahawk steak, a grilled tomahawk steak. So good. So good.
I saw
Look
somebody.
What you did, newbie.
I swear that they were doing this just to be inflammatory.
Okay.
But I saw somebody said that they had a $2,000 tomahawk steak, and they did this video online of it. And they took this steak that was definitely not a $2,000 steak because it didn't have enough fat to be a $2,000 steak. And they grilled it, they seared it, and then they roasted it a little bit. And then they coated it with like beer batter.
Why?
And then they deep fried it.
Oh no.
And I think that they were doing it just to make people comment on their video by just being stupid.
Should we talk about how you should be able to be arrested for doing that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's animal abuse.
I would say.
I mean, you want to talk about animal rights? That cow did not die to have you ruin a steak.
Not that good of a steak.
Don't ruin a steak.
Don't do that. Everyone's better than that out there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Most people.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Except Antifa.
So. Well, there you go, newbie. So it's a ribeye steak. And and that is like, and I'm sure a lot of people and a lot of misguided people would say filet mignon.
Yeah, they're wrong.
People always
you can make a great filet mignon.
Yeah, but people always think that's like the steak. And just
if you have to add bacon to a food in order to make it taste good, you're not doing it right. No. You didn't pick the good meat.
Right.
You got to get that fatty meat.
There's not enough fat on a filet.
Yep,
I mean, it is tender. And let's talk about.
You can do nice stuff with it.
The filet is, if you want to talk about and it contains the most, hopefully I say this right, collagen. There we go.
Yeah.
And so of course it is velvety. It's soft and it's
Mhm.
sexy.
It doesn't contain as much collagen as oxtail, though.
Really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
did not know
Oxtail
that.
is loaded with collagen.
Interesting.
Oxtail is my second favorite cut of meat.
So newbie loves oxtail. He might actually talk about it, but a good braised oxtail and a nice like red sauce, it's pretty good stuff, man.
That's the ticket.
Yeah,
I love
Can't
it.
beat it.
I'll probably be making some of that tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, you should post some pictures on It's Rare of the oxtail.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a video.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Maybe not. You know what? Hey, so I was thinking, do you eat deer meat? Like,
Yeah, I love
venison.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
So I have like a bunch of venison. I got to get you some.
Yeah.
And I got this recipe for.
I would have my own venison if I was better at hunting.
Well, there you go. Maybe I can show you some tricks. It helps having 200 acres of land because you can stumble upon animals a lot easier.
Yeah.
This like bacon wrapped venison loin with like a chimichurri sauce over top. I know you'd probably skip the chimichurri.
I like chimichurri,
but
I love chimichurri.
Man, it's good. It's like, or I've done it again with like a blackberry reduction, like
So
a
what
sauce.
do you see? The bacon is replacing the fat.
Yeah, just because there's not much fat on a loin,
Yeah.
so you need to add the fat to it.
Right.
So it's good stuff.
Yeah, the hard part with venison is that the fat that comes from deer is not great.
So lean. It's such a lean meat. When we
and the fat that you can get is kind of grainy. It's
when we make burger meat out of venison, we add bacon fat to it just because you have to, or you're just not gonna have a good burger. It'd be way too dry.
Keeps it from drying out.
And not just regular fat, bacon fat.
Bacon fat.
That's the way to do it.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
Or you get some short ribs and grind those up in there.
Oh, there you go. It's like the burger at the 18th Amendment. We add
some short rib,
ground chuck, short rib, and brisket to it. So you're gonna talk about a good burger blend. I mean, it's pretty.
That is a
top-notch.
good burger blend.
Yeah, I would think so. We tried a bunch of blends, and that one really hit the ticket for us. So.
Do you think we've lost enough listeners that we can talk about the difference between equity and equality?
Sure. What you should. So that's newbie's talking about is oxtail, or is he saying the steak at Good Luck?
The steak at Good Luck is a $67 ribeye.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean that's the you got to get the upcharge in there.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So let's talk about equality. Is that what you're saying? Say it again. Tell me again. Tell me. I'm gonna need a little more scotch for this, if that's okay.
Me too. You can have all you want.
Thanks again, Phil. This is not a cheap scotch for anyone at home.
It's a nice scotch.
This is for you big rollers who have jobs at colleges.
No. Actually, that bottle was the first thing that I purchased when I went to New York City. I was down in Brooklyn. It was like my second week, and I was down in Brooklyn, and I went over and I found a liquor store, and I came across that bottle. It's a nice. Yeah,
it's 119 proof. It doesn't taste like
you need
that.
water. It says right on there that you're supposed to add like 2 parts water to 1 part scotch.
Wow. It I would have guessed maybe 100.
It's a really nice drink. So,
did you see that it's aged in bourbon barrels and sherry casks?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they do such cool stuff.
I'll stop cutting you off, but I thought that was interesting.
Cool stuff. No. So, one thing that I think a lot about that I have a different angle. Like I think you noticed that I have a different angle on a lot of things than a lot of people do.
You're a different type of person.
Is I look at what's been going on with the protests, with the outcry for social justice, racial justice, and otherwise. And I agree. I think that there are a lot of problems in our society that we need to find solutions for.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of times the solutions that are proposed are solution. Some of them are just completely unrealistic,
Right.
but the ones that even are realistic are more directed toward equity than equality. And I'm a big fan of equality,
Right.
but with the caveat that we need to make things work for everybody. And when I was in grad school, we were trying to justify, why is it, I mean, let's just take it back a little bit, right? So I'm in grad school and we're talking about, why should athletic trainers, what's the difference between athletic trainers and physical therapists, right? And, physical therapists a lot of times just say, they're, more highly trained, whatever, a bunch of different things. And in a lot of ways, they have a doctorate now as opposed to a master's degree. And they're able to treat people from
the physical
from
therapist,
birth.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Physical therapists can treat patients from birth
Okay.
through geriatric ages,
Oh, wow.
and they treat people with, disabilities like CP. They treat people with all sorts of different issues. And for athletic trainers, we treat people who are athletes, and they could have other things. They're plural, they could have disabilities, they could have other issues. But regardless, like, we're specialized for the athlete. So when we justify why athletic trainers, it's when we justify ourselves, instead of selling ourselves as the cheaper option, which often we are, we should justify ourselves as the more specific option. So like, if you compare it to a shoe, we're a running shoe,
Okay.
like, you wouldn't wear clogs to run a marathon. You wear a running shoe.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we're more specific. We don't have the breadth of education that PTs do, but we have more specificity for athletes. So that's why athletic trainers, that makes sense. You sell it as a better idea, right?
Right.
So back to equality and equity is, in order, I hope I'm tying this together well. It sounded really good in my head, but
It was.
basically, the way that I look at what we should do is, we need to make things work for everybody the best that we can, because it's a good idea. And instead of because we need to force it on people, we just need to convince people that it's a good idea. So whether it's, I know currently the hot one is race.
Right.
But another, you've got disabilities that cause way more inequality than race in a lot of ways. Whether it's intellectual disabilities, or whether it's physical or otherwise.
Mental health.
Yeah. So, and race, yeah, absolutely. And I'm not trying to like tie those exactly together, but basically, if you are a business owner, or otherwise, right? We need to convince those people that it benefits them. We need to convince business owners that it benefits them to make things better for everybody. If you,
But why are we focusing on business owners? What, you think they're making it not? You think they're not making equal opportunities to employ people? Is that what you're saying? Because
business owners are kind of a big foundation of our society. Like, for someone who is unable to get a job because of something that they can't control, who's hiring them? For
Right.
people who can't go into the store, why? Right. So there was something that I looked at. I did a little bit of training in inclusion, and they had a comic strip,
And Marianne.
and it was
it's just like cut right to her. Man.
it
What do you
was
think?
it was a kid,
Yeah.
who was using a wheelchair, and it was a guy. It snowed. There's a bunch of kids. One of them is in a wheelchair. The rest of them are perfectly able to move around. And there's a ramp, and there's stairs, and there's a guy standing there, and he says, "Well, I got to shovel these stairs because there are more kids who are going to use those stairs than the ramp.
Yeah, but those kids can walk up in snow. It won't kill them. You can't.
That's not the point.
You can't like get up there with a wheelchair. In
It's
snow.
razor blades. Just like that's not the point. Right?
Okay.
The point is all of the kids can use the ramp.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're
So
right.
so when you have a business, it behooves you to make sure that everybody can get into your store, because now, did you know that 20% of Americans have some type of disability? 20%?
A physical or mental, like
Some type of disability, 20%. So if you make it so that people with a disability can access your business, that's 20% of the country that can use yours that otherwise couldn't.
interesting. Yeah. I'm glad that I spoke up in between there, and you're like, but that's not the reason.
That's not the point, yeah.
The point is that everyone can use the ramp.
Yeah, everyone
It makes
can.
sense. Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that's just a small example, but when you talk, whether it's race or disabilities or gender or whatever it is, it makes sense for us to know that those people are valuable and that they benefit us. Like, even if we don't agree with everything about them, or whatever, like, we have to sell it to people that they're important.
And are you trying to tie this back into like systematic racism? Is that
100%.
so?
100%.
Now, I like your opinion. I pretty much agree with you that it's not just about race. There's a lot of, disabilities, mental health. I don't think there's a lot. Now, is there types of systematic racism? Sure. I mean, maybe you can nitpick and find them. You can find like here, okay, yeah, that, they don't have the same opportunity. They don't have the same opportunity. The main problem is the people that are affected, they don't have businesses in their community.
Right.
And businesses don't want to invest in those communities because they're scared of their business being robbed, of people being afraid to come to their business because of the neighborhood it's in.
But
so
why?
Because it's a bad neighborhood.
So what are the things that you could do? So here's what tie it back together, Phil. Okay.
Right.
So here's my question, right? What can you do? A lot of people who are trying to improve social justice and racism target things that are going to make it specifically better for a group of people. They say, okay, well, we need to make it better for Black people because they're oppressed in this area. But sometimes by doing that, they make things unequal.
Right.
So what could we do that makes things better for everybody? That, like, there are currently things that are specifically targeting, not specifically, but there are currently things that there are laws and policies and otherwise that more affect certain populations than others, certain races than others. But by reducing those policies or changing those policies, it makes things better for everybody, but it makes things more better for the ones who it was lopsided against.
Right.
So things like the drug war, I look at. The drug war disproportionately affects African Americans.
Yeah.
And I think it's a stupid policy.
Well, it targets them.
Yeah.
It's targeted at people of color.
So we need to end the drug war.
Yeah, not just Black people, Mexican people.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Or not Mexican. Sorry, I shouldn't say it. It's like Latin or some of the sort.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is definitely targeted at them. For
Yeah.
sure.
It does. It disproportionately affects them.
Yeah.
But you can end the drug war without creating a separate class of people and saying, okay, well, we're going to just make it so that if a certain group of people get arrested for drugs, then their charges are less or something, right?
Right.
We're just going to say, look, we're not going to put anybody in jail for smoking marijuana ever again.
Right.
Because they weren't hurting anybody. Now, if they hurt somebody, put them in jail for that.
Right.
If you're smoking marijuana and you hurt somebody, you go to jail. If you're smoking marijuana and you don't hurt anybody, you don't go to jail. If you're smoking crack and you don't hurt anybody, you don't go to jail. We might try to get you services so that you can maybe stop smoking crack.
Right.
If you rob somebody so you can get money for crack.
Well, if you rob somebody,
You go to
should
jail.
be in jail. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For a long time.
But if you're not hurting anybody, we need to get rid of the drug war.
But there's still a little bit of problems with you using our emergency systems because of your drug use. You shouldn't tie up our police or ambulance crews because you have a drug problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And those people can't afford to pay for the services they're being rendered in that situation. So there's an issue in that part of it.
So we tackle that part of it.
That's why I think pot is like, it's so scary that people still go to jail for marijuana.
It is.
Because
they're not doing any of that.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't die over pot. It doesn't happen. It's safe. You know?
To non-marijuana smokers. But
yeah, seriously. I mean, it's not like we're not, Phil and I aren't token up. You know, it's our vice is obviously booze. So, and we don't judge anyone for their vices as long as they do it in a safe manner and don't over consume and get in cars, and you can do whatever you want. Just don't affect other people's lives.
Exactly.
That's all.
Exactly. So, but that's like, I think that it's a perfect analogy for the kid that needs to use the ramp. It's like, let's like open up the way for people that aren't hurting anybody. Let's open up the way for people, for everybody, instead of just a certain group of people.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And I would say, before people, if anyone's listening at this point and hearing our conversation, Phil and I are probably, I'd say both of us are the most accommodating. We don't judge people on anything.
Absolutely.
Anybody's allowed in here. We don't care skin color, sex, your whatever gender you want to be. None of that. I would say none of it would stop us. As long as you're a decent person, not gonna, be crazy. We really don't care.
If you're cool, we like you.
Yeah, and I've always been that way. And being a business owner, how can you not?
Yeah,
I mean, and being an athletic trainer,
that's why it ties
being an
back.
athletic trainer, how can you not?
Right,
because you don't get to choose who you train. Like in times, you got to do it.
Yeah, and I love all my patients. I mean, like you don't get into that career because you want to discriminate in any way.
Right. No.
I mean, you get into that career because you want to help people. You just want to help people. So
yeah, I would say that there's a lot to talk about, and it's uncomfortable, and a lot of people are scared to give their opinion.
It's I wasn't sure if you'd want to talk about it.
No, I think to be fair, I think the biggest problem, in my opinion, is Amazon's not going to move to Baltimore, Maryland. I can guarantee you that.
Right. So,
and that's the problem, is we have to start by cleaning up neighborhoods, because it's like when people talk about it, it's like anything else. It's like with police, there's bad people that make that neighborhood bad. And nothing happens because people are scared of those people in their neighborhoods, because they know if they tell the police or they try to do something, they can be killed.
Right.
We need to work on fixing that. Our money needs to go back into communities. People need to invest.
And we need to get out of people's
in their
way
communities
to help their own communities too.
Right. But that's the problem, is you're a product of your environment, and there's no truer saying. If I grew up in Seattle, I'm sure I would probably have a different way of thinking, don't you think?
You can come out different ways no matter where you're from.
Yeah, but you're a product of your environment. Like, you have to be. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. If you grew up in a different place, that you would be different. You would have a different way of thinking.
Yeah. But everybody's got a million different angles too. I mean, you look at the tribalism that goes on in our society, and it doesn't make any sense, because people within those tribes, within political parties, within local areas, neighborhoods, whatever it is, they're so diverse. Even if everybody in a neighborhood looks the same, they're so diverse.
Right.
And their ideas, I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is their ideas
are pretty similar.
Not necessarily.
Well, look
at Penn Yan.
Well, a lot of
Look at the broad spectrum of ideas in Penn Yan.
but you can guarantee almost everyone in Penn Yan's comfortable with the Second Amendment.
No.
There's got to be a
No.
majority compared to then in New York City with people who've never seen guns or been around them or been around hunting.
I've had enough conversations with people that aren't
Really
in Penn Yan. A lot of people that
are
aren't.
originally from here.
Nope.
Well, see, that's the thing. People that grew up here,
And
they've
maybe some of them
experienced
from
it.
here.
They've experienced
Actually, no,
it.
yes, some of them from here, yes.
Hmm.
But I've had a lot of conversations about it, and there are a lot of people from here and from other places who are very much not comfortable with it, and they think that we're stupid
for wanting guns.
Yeah,
to be safe.
yeah.
To protect
They think
your
it. They
family.
think that it's selfish. They think that it's stupid. Like they think, they go those arguments that you're more likely to get shot by your own gun than you are to use it in defense. Like, well, first off, probably not true. Depends on where you get your statistics. And I'm not going to cite any statistics because I know that a lot of the
Sure, it's
statistics
from domestic violence cases.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
But, there are statistics that are flawed that like you can't really know how many defensive uses there are.
Well, if your wife catches you screwing your neighbor, if you don't have a gun, she will find another way to kill you. I hate to tell you that.
Or
there's a lot scarier shit.
Maybe
than
she'll just
guns.
leave.
And let me tell you, knives are way more personal than a gun.
Jesus.
Think about it. No, but I'm sure it comes from domestic cases, and that's what it is. Like, you don't want a gun in your home because if there's a domestic problem, somebody can get shot.
Right.
If it doesn't have to be a gun, people.
So part of it's
more people are killed by hammers than guns.
Part of it's
every year.
Locus of control, though, right? So it's like people who think that they're just things that are going to happen no matter what, which they are. A lot of them think, you know what, like you having that means that there's one more that could kill somebody. On the other hand, I think that me having that, I know I'm not going to attack somebody. I know 100%. But I also know that now I've got something that if worse comes to worse, like very worse, I have a tool that I can use in my defense or in the defense of my friends and family that I might not be able to defend it either way.
Or somebody that's not even your friends or family.
Absolutely.
That person behind you in a grocery store that's going to be has a gun pulled on him. I mean, it's
but without it, you don't. And there's no equality. I mean, that's part of equality. Like that levels the playing field.
Right.
That makes it so that not to be sexist, but that makes it so a 5 foot, 115-pound woman can be equal to a 250-pound man.
Yeah. It evens it real quick.
Yeah.
It's, and I don't want it to be the Wild West, everyone's packing and carrying their pistols and having shootouts.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's not what the Wild West was.
Well, right. But that's what people think.
That's what people think.
Everyone has a gun.
You don't want the image of the Wild West.
And that's not what we're looking for, because I think open carry is crazy. I would never open carry a weapon. You couldn't get me to open. Why would you show you have a weapon? Think about it. If you have a gun,
I would consider it.
So let's say I was going to rob you. If I knew you had a gun open carry, I would go about it a lot different than if I didn't know you had one.
Yeah, but you know what? Like there's
because I know it's on your hip.
Yeah.
And I know where it is. And you don't think I'm going to that would be the
sure.
first thing you're going to go for?
Yeah, you lose the element of surprise. On the other hand, it'd be really nice. I don't think we should have open carry laws. And here's why. You're talking about what's happening in a grocery store. Right. What about when you're out for a hike? Like, wouldn't it be nice not to have to try to conceal it? And, if you're not in New York State so much, but other places where you've got, if people are carrying because of bears or otherwise, that, you can carry it open so that you can have something that's bigger that you can,
I think you can carry open in certain parks and like that.
New York State, there are a lot of parks where you can't have one at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But I
it's
would
crazy.
say in the woods, there's not going to be a police officer who tries to
No,
give
but
you
there
trouble.
might be some there might be somebody there that gets uncomfortable and calls on you.
Well, yeah, there is that too. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like everything else. It's common sense laws. And
What do you think?
what do you think, Marianne?
What do you think, Marianne?
Like I'm packing right now. What are you talking about? She looks like somebody that shouldn't have a gun.
I would not.
Look at the eyes.
I don't
on
know.
her.
She could be
Look at their eyes. She looks like
more worried about her haircut.
She's maybe. I don't know.
It's like a Joe Dirt haircut.
Yeah.
Dear Tay.
Yeah. So yeah, back to that. I would never open carry. That's my opinion, because the element of surprise is where you always want to be. And and the reason
what about the places where you're allowed to open carry but you're not allowed to conceal carry?
Strange. That's strange.
Yeah.
And here's I think, and it does drive fear. People get scared when they see a gun. And
here's the thing.
And at points I understand why some people get scared, but it's like, so let's say you're in a bad neighborhood and some guy's got a gun and he's probably doesn't have it legal. That's scary. But if somebody, has their permit and they're carrying a gun and that they're probably safe, then I don't know why you'd be scared.
Okay, how about this? Cars, right?
Okay.
How many cars do you see every day?
A shit ton.
Are they scared you?
No. I've seen some scary ass vehicles.
Do they kill a lot of people?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
More than guns.
Way more.
If you didn't see one every day, but you still knew that they killed a lot of people, you think you'd be more or less comfortable with them?
I don't know.
So
I'm not sure.
If you saw guns every day, you might just be comfortable with them.
Well,
You might learn that every person that has a gun isn't like, most of them are really good people.
Well, that's why I'm comfortable around guns.
Yeah.
Because I see them every day.
Right. So, but a lot of people don't. And most of the people who are against them almost never see them.
Right.
Or maybe never at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it's all about, part of it's just, is it normal? There are things that aren't normal. Shooting people isn't normal.
That does not really
Having
happen
a gun
much.
is normal.
It doesn't
That's what I'm saying. That's not normal. Having, they try to make certain ideas normal, and a lot of them aren't normal.
No, a lot of things aren't. A lot of things that we try to police aren't normal.
Right.
They're freak chances, and then they make big laws that affect the overwhelming majority.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It happens.
It's the way it gets you.
Yeah, and sometimes it makes you wonder, is the government trying something? Let's tinfoil hat.
It's a false flag. It's a false flag operation.
Is there times where the government's
next week we'll be joined by Alex Jones.
Yeah. Tinfoil hat. Think about it. Some things do benefit the government to happen. So I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but
they might not.
So
the thing is, what do they say? Never let a good crisis, go
to waste.
Go to waste. Yeah. So anytime something happens, what's going on right now and otherwise, they will take advantage of it. Whether they started it or not, they'll find a way to take advantage of it.
Let's go back to mail-in voting.
Mail-in voting.
How scary is that?
Not at all.
That's scary.
Not to me.
It is to me. It's terrifying.
Why? Because
your son and daughter, who are both over 18, who would not cast a vote, and you're the parent, and you now you get to decide how they vote.
Okay.
So now you've not only changed your mind.
So what you're saying.
So you're adding extra votes because they're your children.
Hold on. So what you're saying is that your 18-year-old kids were not going to vote.
Right.
But they got a ballot sent to them, and then you fill it out for them.
Yep.
That could happen.
It will happen.
Yeah, that'll happen.
It's Phil. It's gonna be rampant.
Probably be equal on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so? I think it will.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it for that fact that I know lots of people who don't vote, whose parents are they have this feeling, and I know damn well their vote's going to be cast. I'm telling you, Phil.
The thing that's going to be,
I don't think that should. I really think it should be in person.
If we do mail-in voting for a large sector of the population, the thing that'll be really unique and different about this election is we won't know. We won't know who won.
Not really. No.
We won't know who won. And it'll be really hard to tell because even if you trust everybody, you don't have the polls on that day. You don't have like a good way to sample them other than just the same way that you have a regular poll.
Yeah,
you don't have an exit poll. You just have a regular poll, which we know that they're not very good.
An interesting way to recount.
Yeah. Well, and when they do, so here's the thing, right? Absentee votes, right? You look at absentee votes and those are usually not counted until way after election night. Like it takes them a while to count those.
Right.
If that becomes a big portion of what the votes are, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make sure they all get counted.
I say, let's stay the hell away from mail-in voting. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I agree some people should be able to mail-in vote. People who are unable to make it to polls. What did Newbie say? I see you're reading.
Oh, he was just talking about
carrying.
People not being competent to carry.
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, that's my problem with it, and I think other people should really open their mind to why it's a problem. Not just because Trump has a problem with it. I get it.
Yeah,
it's fun to fight against Trump. It's
right.
fun. It's fun to make fun of him.
It's easy.
It really is. And trust me, Phil and I like making fun of a lot of things.
I think he's an idiot, but
yeah,
that doesn't affect whether or not I think the things that he says are good ideas.
But mail-in voting is bad. Bad. The one time I'll try to change people's mind.
Mail-in voting is bad. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think
so.
Here, why don't we have a way, and I know it would be tricky, but by now, I can do my taxes online. I can do my student loans online. Everything, every federal thing that you have to, like, they have to be sure you are who you are.
Yeah.
You can do via the internet, except voting.
Right.
Why don't we have a way? I mean, in as much as it becomes tricky, wouldn't it be better if we had 80% of the population voting instead of 40? And don't you think that we might be able to get at least more people voting if they didn't have to leave their house?
Would it be better? Because if
it'd be a different outcome.
If they don't have the ambition to get out and go vote, do you want their opinion in the election?
I don't know, man.
Because how much are they paying attention?
Are you trying? Like, I don't want to do anything that eliminates a portion of the population from having a choice.
Well, either do I. That's why I think people who aren't allowed, who can't make it out to vote, can do something like that, online or mail in.
Yeah.
But I don't think you give the option to mail in. Here's a good example. So my grandmother owns a old folks home, and for mentally ill, elderly women. She has 6 women that live in the house. All of them will get that mail to vote.
Mm-hmm.
How easy would it be for somebody to say, well, I guess they're all voting Democrat, or they're all voting Republican?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or they're all voting Libertarian. I mean, it's easy, but is it not too easy? It's easy.
I'm wondering what's going to happen if they actually start doing mail-in voting in September or whatever, like they were talking about before even the first debate.
Yeah.
Which, please let somebody other than the blue tie guy and the red tie guy into the debate, please. Just somebody, even if it's not my person, just let somebody else in there. But it'd be interesting to see if are they going to do a rolling count? Are they just going to wait and then tell us at the end who won? There's so much room. Like the fact that they're planning on doing voting over a 2-month period or a 1.5-month period is just, that's going to make it really complicated.
All right. What do you think about people saying that Trump's not going to leave the White House?
That's stupid.
Have you
That's
seen?
stupid.
Have you seen? That's
Yeah.
the new.
Yeah,
the
it's
new
just,
fun thing.
That's just people. That's just people being stupid. They're just trying to
Oh, God.
talk nonsense.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that what I say when it comes to mail-in voting doesn't happen, but I will state I will tell you I'm 100% sure it's going to happen. It will
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Votes are going to be cast that shouldn't be cast. That of opinions of people who probably aren't of that opinion. I don't like it.
You can only hope,
I don't like it.
You can only hope that there's a big enough margin.
Let's be serious. Now, is there one group of people that are more about following laws than the other? Is there one side
depends on what the law is.
Is it one side of the spectrum that you think are more for following the, like, oh, well, we are good Christian people and
come on,
we wouldn't cast a false ballot. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing.
Are you gonna notice that more or not?
That side really, I think, might on the surface have the image that they present the idea that they're going to be more a certain way, but then maybe reduce government, right? Or cut taxes or things like that. And then what happens, right? What do they do? Do they spend less money or do they spend more? Do they grow the government or do they shrink it?
On the politician end.
Yes,
but
that's what I'm saying.
But
so the people are saying they want this. So I'm going to vote for this guy because this guy is going to do that. And then what does that guy do 100% of the time? 100% when they vote for the person they think is going to shrink government, cut taxes, lower regulation, 100% of the time, that person that they elect grows government, increases taxes, increases laws, increases the power of the federal government or state government, whatever level they're at, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And that is appalling. And to those people, I think that they should, consider looking around, and instead of just voting for people based on what color their tie is, look at what they've done, look at their real record and ask, what do I actually support?
Right.
And for the people on the other side who want to respect civil rights more in their speech and who want to make things better for people, look at what those people have done. Have they done what they said they were going to do? And is there maybe somebody else out there that would?
Is it tough to do what you want to do though when you get in there? Like, let's be honest. Donald Trump's fought his ass off to do a lot of things, and it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. He's been fought the whole way.
Yeah, every president's been fought.
Right. So I think
but every president
that's
tramples our freedom, and every Congress tramples our freedom.
Well, I think we should talk about the Congress. I think that's
both. It's both.
The two-party system is broken.
It's so horrible.
It's not. It doesn't work anymore.
But it's both, and it's both sides.
So how much is it the president?
It's the executives. It's the legislative.
Right.
And it's the blue ties and the red ties.
Well, that's the two-party system's done. It needs to end. We need to figure something else out.
It's really one party as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
because
whoever has the Senate majority,
it's the party of it doesn't matter to me. It's like I consider them the same, and I get a lot of kickback on this because they have different little nuances. But like I just said, both sides grow government, grow deficit, grow budget, grow federal power, and then now the guy with the red tie is in office. Let me scream about it because I don't want him to have all the power that I just gave my guy. And then next time when it's a guy with a blue tie, all the people that voted for the red tie guy are going to be screaming about it because they don't want him to have all the power that they just gave the red tie guy. And there's probably one party that exists that would give up that power and let people have the power back.
Maybe. Yeah, who knows?
And
That's the thing. Who
yeah,
knows?
Yeah. I said
Good.
maybe.
Yeah.
So, but the ones that we have in there, they've been doing the same thing. They've been doing the same thing all along.
But I always go back to everyone's always. We need to stop putting all the blame on presidents. Even it doesn't matter what presidents you want to talk about. It doesn't matter if we talk Trump, Obama, George Bush. Go back. The Congress, the Senate have so much power.
Absolutely.
And when there's a Republican president and a Democrat Congress or Senate, like nothing gets done. Yeah. Nothing happens. It's at a stalemate. I just would like
executive orders, though. I mean,
wouldn't you
it's
like
gotten out of control.
Wouldn't you like to see? How cool would it be to see them all jump on the same board? Like jump on board. Let's be on the same side. So
what do you mean?
Who's the guy? And not many people are, and we're not big enough now that I think I'm going to cause offense. But the guy with the eye patch, the Republican guy.
Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Dan Crenshaw.
He's really open. Like you see him, like he's talking to other Democrats.
He's good on
he's
a lot
like
of
friends
things.
with he's friends with them and stuff. Like I want to see that guy. Like, I think I want to see.
It'll be a few years.
I want to see somebody who's not afraid to be friends with Democrats. Who's not afraid to.
He's got a lot of time to get corrupted before he runs for president.
He's not a very corruptible type of man.
Yeah.
He's a man. Like that. He's a man.
I like him for now. No, I like him for now. Yeah. But I don't know. I worry about. I don't know. It's hard to say. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I hope. I don't know. Well, I
was pro Rand Paul.
I'm saying obviously something you're not gonna like, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, you can't say it. You shouldn't."
You can say whatever you want. You should know
once
that.
we leave, you'd be like, "You can't say that." It's like voting libertarian is gonna. All it does is take votes away from who you want it to be, and
no, it doesn't.
And I knew you're gonna
go
say,
ahead. No, you explain why, and then I'll explain why you're wrong.
It's like because shouldn't you? And here's the thing. I would vote Joe Jorgensen. The only thing we don't agree on is she's a little tough on the Second Amendment. I don't like it.
Okay, let me ask you then. All right, so you finish your thought, and then I'll rebut.
If my vote isn't going to get her through, I would rather cast it for the potential of the person that I think has a chance of getting through.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem.
So do you think that there is a person that doesn't wear a blue tie that's going to get the electoral votes for New York State?
Well, no.
Then if you vote for anybody,
Democrat's going to win. And I say that every time I vote when it comes to that. That's why.
So if in New York State,
I voted
so here's
for
the thing.
Larry Sharp.
Right.
That's why.
So here's the thing, right? So in New York State, we know that with the current state of affairs, the blue tie is going to get the electoral votes for president. So if you vote for the red tie, then that guy is going to still lose by one less vote. Now, if you vote for the gold tie, then that can have a bigger effect.
But what about the states where it's close? Not New York State. What about those states where it's 1%? Where it's like, oh shit, like this is like edge. Like your vote matters in these states. Pennsylvania sometimes Pennsylvania, you'll be like, what the fuck? Like sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're red. You don't even know where they're going to go. And it's like your vote matters there. Here in New York City controls New York State. We know that. We know they're going to vote blue. But there's a lot of states where your vote does matter. Okay,
let's finish this out though. Let's finish out New York State and then we'll go to those swing states. Okay. New York State, if you can say that the gold tie got 10% of the vote, that changes everything. If that third party vote makes up a high enough percentage in a state like this, people can say, oh, they actually had an impact. They actually impacted the vote. And they might actually be something that in the next election around, they can make a difference. Not only that, but in New York State, the blue ties and the red ties just agreed on making sure that third parties wouldn't be on the ballot without having to go through a whole in-depth petition process every single election.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because you voted for Larry Sharp, we got automatic ballot access for the
Right.
Libertarians in this election. Now, it was supposed to be for 4 years. It was supposed to get us through to the next governor election. They changed the law to make it so that it only applies to the next election. So if we don't get enough votes for Joe Jorgensen in New York State, then they're going to have to go through that whole ballot access process again in the next election. And that takes away from their ability to actually run a campaign to get elected. So that's a big impact. Now, you look at swing states. First off, if there's a state where there's a possibility that a third party could actually get the electoral votes, you got to do it.
That's not going to happen in a swing state.
Well, maybe it's not a swing state, but whatever state it is, if there's a state that exists where a third party can get the electoral votes, that can change the election.
Right. Okay.
Now, swing states, I don't know, follow your heart. Follow your heart. If you think that the most important thing is to make sure that the lesser of two evils doesn't win,
It is.
you know, go for it, man.
It should be.
But for me, two evils are two evils. I vote for the person I want to vote for. I will never again vote for somebody that I don't support. I won't vote against people ever again. I'm never going to vote against people. I'm only going to vote for people. And I'll leave categories blank on a ballot. If I see that there are 3 people and I don't like any of them, I'll either write in somebody that I think would be acceptable, or I won't vote for that position. I don't feel it right in my heart to vote for somebody that I don't support.
Well, I can always find something I support in someone.
Yeah, but I need to be like 70 to 80% to get there.
Well, I mean, and yeah, I guess that's where we differ, because my thing is, if I agree with 30% on somebody and then the other person I agree with nothing, I'm going to pick 30%.
Well, what if there's another person that has 50%, but you don't think that they can win?
Well, if I'm in a swing state, then I'm going to vote for the 30%.
Yeah, and then you're going to screw the person that you agreed with, because that makes you part of the problem.
And again,
and you knew that we wouldn't agree, and that's okay.
No, but liking libertarian. Yeah, I said it first thing we were
It's
talking.
okay.
Like,
and it's okay. And I'm okay with
Yeah.
that. I'm okay
Yeah.
with the fact that you think that.
Yeah. That's why we can be
But I
friends. And
think
do
that's
this.
part of why we can't elect a third party right now, is because of that mentality.
We need to start small. We need to get libertarian governors in. That's what and then it'll grow the party. The problem is there's
Governor's not small.
It's smaller than a president.
It is smaller than the president.
That's where we need to start.
What I think we need to do. Do you want to
libertarian
know
police chiefs, libertarian mayors? Like it needs the movement. It's like anything else, right? Everyone always wants to like the big fish, right? Everyone wants to be here, and it's like,
yeah,
that's not how things start.
You know
There's
what we
always
need?
those little things.
You know what would really be what I think is the best plan of attack for libertarians that I don't think a lot of people have talked about is we should just throw all of our support nationwide to get 2 senators. We
Yeah.
need 2 libertarian senators.
Pull. That's what I'm saying. Just go somewhere.
Just 2.
Just pull
You know
for
why?
something like that.
Do you know why? Because now those are the 2 most important votes in the Senate.
Right, because they swing. They swing any vote. It's over.
Yep. So, I mean, nobody can have a majority.
Right.
If you had 49, and 2, those are the 2 most important ones there. And that's what we need to do.
Or independents. It doesn't have to be libertarian. Why?
It doesn't have to be libertarian.
Why
it has to be a third party.
Why do independents not like? What happened to independent candidates? What happened to what was his name that he was always running all the time?
Because independents just end up coxing with one of the 2 anyway. They do.
Who
Look
was
at,
the guy that was running for president when
was
when
it
Bush
Lindsey
was there?
Was Lindsey Graham an independent? I think, but then he,
He's a hardcore Republican.
I don't know who was it then.
It
I
could
can't
not
remember
have
who.
been
I
him.
can't remember who it was. Who's
Yeah.
the Jewish guy? Sorry, Jewish people. Who is the? Or congratulations. Who was the? Shoot, he tried to run for president.
Ralph
one year.
Nader. Sorry, that's who I was trying to talk about.
Ralph Nader.
Like he was a solid independent candidate.
He was Green Party.
Yeah. I mean,
So he's Green. He was a third party. He was Green Party.
yeah.
He wasn't independent. He
Well,
was
sorry,
Green Party.
Green Party.
Yeah.
But like good option. Ralph Nader had a lot of good opinions. He was.
Yeah.
I liked where
Except on the Corvair. Ralph Nader, you really got it wrong on the Corvair.
But other than that, there was a couple other things too. Let's be serious. But good candidate would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I would. And
Absolutely.
You're not going to like to hear this, but I would have, if Ralph was running, then Howie against Joe Jorgensen, I'd probably have voted Ralph Nader.
Yeah, I mean, you were 5, so it would have been hard. But I think
No. I was like 15 or 16 when he was running.
no.
Yeah.
When did he wasn't he in 96?
No, and
I guess he
again,
ran a couple times. Yeah.
and again, no, I was old enough to watch and like participate and be like a part.
Yeah.
And of course, I
So
didn't have a vote.
the problem, as much as I love the fact that Joe Jorgensen really holds closely to what's going on with the Libertarian Party in general. Like, she holds tight to the principles. She's not an exciting candidate. She's not a celebrity. She's not like, I don't know. She doesn't have like lightning, you know. She doesn't have that thing that makes you excited about her. And the reason why Donald Trump is going to win this election, as much as I don't want him to, the reason he's going to is because even though people hate him, they care. Like they're interested in him. He's interesting. He's more interesting than Biden. People aren't interested in Biden.
I don't think
Biden's like a boring establishment guy. He's not exciting.
Biden's got.
He's not controversial. He's just a guy.
Biden's got like a dirty past.
He does, but he's not like he's not doing anything interesting. He's not getting coverage. He's in his basement still. He's not getting coverage anywhere.
If he picks Kamala Harris,
nobody's talking about
he
him.
instantly loses.
Well, as soon as he started playing identity politics and said, "I'm only going to nominate a black woman,"
right,
as a vice presidential candidate, I mean, that's nonsense. I mean, you need to open it up and say, I mean, I'm not against him picking a black woman.
Pick Tulsi Gabbard.
But you need to say, I'd love to see Tulsi. But what he needs to say is, I'm going to pick the best vice presidential candidate instead of I'm going to pick, a presidential candidate who is a black woman.
Right.
Eddie.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's different.
I can't get on the Bernie thing, newbie.
Sorry,
newbie. I love you. You're a good buddy of mine, but Bernie is.
I have a lot of good friends that are Bernie supporters, and I don't really get it.
I don't see it.
I don't really get it.
I just don't see it. I there's some things about Bernie that I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
but I'm so anti-socialism. You'll never change my mind to have socialist opinions. I don't like it. Socialism feels like the minor communism. It really does. It feels like you're slowly getting there, right? And maybe you shouldn't compare it because, of course, it's not a totalitarian power or anything like that. But I just don't like socialism. I don't like what it stands for, and it takes away from what America was built on. And that's big time.
I agree. But the thing with him is that there are policies that he stands for that represent freedom to me. And I like those. And there are policies that he stands for that represent the government having a much larger role in your life.
Way too much.
Huge role in your life. And that will keep me from ever supporting him.
Yeah. Even though I think I like when he gets on stage. I like the way he talks. I like some of his opinions. I'm like, you can get behind it. And then
he's a cult of personality, just like Trump.
But then you listen, and then you start hearing things he's talking about. You're like, well,
hold on, maybe not.
You better back off that one,
that
Bernie.
One's gonna work.
A, you guys aren't taking 50% of my money. B, I'm for.
Oh, that's the top tax rate,
right?
And the millionaires and billionaires
Right. But B, here's the next problem. And the same problem I had
maybe you're a millionaire
with
billionaire, I don't know.
Obamacare is I don't want to pay for other people's health insurance. And it sounds horrible because here's the thing.
You already are.
Well, I partly, but I don't want to pay for a lot of it. And I don't want to be charged because
That's how insurance works. You're part of a risk
I
pool.
don't want to be charged because I don't have health insurance.
Right. Yeah,
that's
I agree with
that's
that.
not fair.
I agree with
don't,
that. Yeah.
If I'm young, I'm healthy, I take care of myself.
Yeah.
I
Well, you
don't
should
need to-
choose whether or not
I
you
don't
participate.
need to go to the doctor
Yeah.
that much.
You should choose whether or not you have to participate.
And if I do, I fucking pay for it. Cash. Just to do it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that model.
Yeah. That's how I am.
I love that model. There's a new model. Well, I don't know how new it is, but there's a model out there now where people can be, it's like a subscription, right?
Oh, Newbie says, let's put it out there. Newbie's not going for Bernie. He thought I was saying Bernie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry,
all
Newbie.
right.
Sorry. And it wouldn't affect me if you liked Bernie. Newbie.
Yeah, it's okay.
And
We like you anyway.
Yeah, like we were saying, we don't care what you think.
If you got soul, we got friends just like you.
Cool. We're good.
So there's a model that exists where you can basically get a subscription with a doctor. You pay a certain amount, and then there's like a secondary insurance for anything that they can't handle.
Yeah.
But your primary care is all, you pay $20 a month to your doctor, or I don't know what the cost is, but I know some people that actually do it, and those folks are able to go get any care that they need, small copay. They get any care that they need that doctor can handle while they're subscribing, and then anything above that, their secondary insurance covers.
Why do you think it's called the American Dream?
Yeah.
What do you think when you hear the American Dream and you hear all these people coming from other countries, from socialist countries, from communist countries, from, you name it.
They're delusional because they don't know what America is. Because it's what they think America is.
There is an American dream.
There is, but it's what they think America is.
In a capitalist country, you can come from nothing and be the greatest thing
We're
ever.
not a capitalist country.
But capitalism thrives here.
It could.
It does.
If we had an opportunity to have capitalism, it would.
It does.
But we have crony capitalism.
Okay, explain.
So the government props up certain industries. The government subsidizes industries. If it was pure capitalism, you'd stand or fall on your own merits. But, okay, we think something's cool, like solar energy.
Okay.
So we give subsidies to solar energy. We choose them. And we make sure that they're going to be more successful, that those businesses have a better chance to succeed. And then, we take different industries that, are less favorable in some way. And, maybe we tax them higher, like tobacco. Maybe we say, it's going to be $10 a pack of cigarettes because it's going to be a 200% tax or whatever it is. And insurance, right? Health insurance. I think that we should be paying for health care instead of health insurance. But we're forcing people to pay for health insurance. You have to pay for health insurance. So what happens? The health insurance industry makes a ton of money. You look at Walmart, right? And businesses like that. We're subsidizing Walmart. Do you think we should be subsidizing? We're subsidizing Walmart by making sure that their employees, can get a certain wage, and they should be doing that on their own.
I'm talking, but I see where you're coming from, and I'm talking about the small. I'm talking the baby. Where else can you go as an immigrant and become a nobody and become a millionaire?
Should I don't know if you want to get into your businesses.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay,
it doesn't bother me.
So your businesses, do you feel like you've gotten more? Have you gotten any help from government programs?
Yeah, the Small Business Association.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that you've been harmed by any government programs?
Well, I would say you do get put into sometimes you get some strict regulations when you sign up for these government.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, even stuff that's going on right now.
Right.
Like, I mean, right now is a perfect example of that. You know, the government can tell you how many people are allowed inside.
Well, they can mandate it, which isn't a law.
Yeah. So the thing is, right? That's not capitalism. Capitalism, you do what you thought was best for your business, and you're not allowed to do that right now.
No, you're right. But
You get certain areas of
Right.
your business supported, and you get certain areas of your business discouraged. And the way that it's organized is shaped by government policy. If it was capitalism, it would be shaped by economics.
what do you think? What would you like to see capitalism thrive here?
100%. I've had this debate with my brother about the difference between a fair economy, fair trade and free trade. And I just don't think, first off, we've never tried free trade because of what we just talked about.
Well,
there are always businesses who are supported, and there are always businesses that are discouraged. And even between nations, we've got certain ones that have tariffs. Sometimes it's raw materials, sometimes it's finished products, and otherwise. So we've never had free trade, and we'll never have fair trade, because what's fair? You can't define what's fair.
Sometimes you have to tell Walmart that they can't charge 50 cents for something that no one else can, that all the
They
small
don't.
people,
They don't.
you're going to kill the smaller businesses.
You need to stop giving Walmart a place where the small business is paying taxes at a regular rate, but then Walmart has this like area on the fringe of town where they don't have to pay the same tax rate as the small business.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Like,
but
we need to stop doing that
but
before we start worrying about, like price gouging and
there's still
or,
price
or-
gouging.
or price fixing.
That is an issue.
Absolutely.
Think about a
Absolutely.
think about a gas station.
Absolutely.
You try to open a gas station. Sunoco's selling gas for $1.50, and you're like, how the fuck?
Right.
Can you
yeah.
imagine?
Yeah,
you're
couldn't
trying to
compete with
sell
that.
it. You're
Yeah.
like,
You're right. You're
I'm
right.
paying
You're right.
$1.50 to get it here.
Yeah.
It's like there's some things where you're just like, how the hell can you keep up with these billion-dollar companies?
I'm not entirely against regulating the billion-dollar companies in some way, but I am. What's happening now is not them being overregulated; it's them being favored.
Well, yeah.
Walmart gets favor over small business, and that's the problem.
Do you know Walmart controls the price of sugar?
Is that right?
It's true. That's how much sugar they buy. They buy so much sugar that they change the price of sugar.
Wow. Did you know that McDonald's is the world's largest retailer of apples?
I did not. It shows you these billion-dollar companies have more of a say in our economy than we could ever imagine. So if Walmart goes, hey, Domino, we're going to buy every fucking bag of sugar you got, and we're going to say sugar's $5 for 5 pounds, you're going to be stuck paying it.
Good job, Domino.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're going to be stuck paying it.
Absolutely.
Because Walmart bought them out.
Why would you pay,
It's like anything else. It's like anything else.
Why would they take less than what they could get for Walmart?
Right. So Walmart just decided the price of everyone's sugar. And it actually happens. It's true. And this comes from being part of the ADI, the American Distilling Institute.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of them rely on sugar and rely on products like that and grains and stuff. And if a big business decides they want to bam and take control of something and have the market on it, they have enough money to do it.
Do you add any sugar to any of yours?
No.
Yours is all from the grain.
Now when sugar's being added into like mixers, so
Yeah.
like when you're making apple pie moonshine or you're making like a liqueur and you need sugar, that's where your sugar comes into it. And big companies use a lot of sugar for that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of sugar. Yeah. So I mean, we use a lot of sugar. We buy 25 bags, 50 pounds each, probably every 3 months. We use a lot of sugar, in mixers and everything else. And I'll tell you, you watch the prices fluctuate, and then you read online that, hey, sugar's tough to get a hold of and it's expensive because of this. Or grains, like, whoa, like you can't get rye because all of a sudden Jack Daniels or Jim Beam's like, hey, we're going to buy a fuck ton of rye. And
we're going to buy all of the rye that's available this week.
So, yeah, it's definitely different. So,
did you hear that?
Someone come in?
I think there was an accident out back.
Oh, is it out back?
I couldn't tell if it was out back or upstairs. Did you lock the door?
No,
Why didn't you lock the door?
I thought we could have some.
I locked it when you were at the coffee shop, and I
Did
went
you?
back up and I unlocked it when you texted me and said he wanted to know what I wanted to drink
Oh God.
from the coffee shop.
Oh shit. What do you think? 2:30.
Should wrap it up.
Go to the Laurentide.
All right, Tracy, we will, or Marla. I'm sorry, Marla. And who do you think's tenant over there today?
Tracy was at my distillery getting liquor, so I don't know if where
I
he's
think
at.
Molly's over there.
Molly's probably there.
Molly or Sarah, probably. So whoever's over there, we'll be over in a few minutes, and we'll take. What do you want? ESB.
ESB.
All right,
Yeah,
he'll have an
take
ESB, and I'll kick it off with a cider. So if you can just have those ready at about 3 o'clock, once we get done cleaning up here, we'll be right over.
But none of the jumping
Johnny jump up.
Johnny jump up.
No Johnny jump ups today.
Not for Phil. Johnny jump ups, but Phil in the dirt. All right.
There's a whole song about it. Did I ever play that song for you?
I looked it up after.
Did you
told me.
play it?
Yeah. I was like, okay.
It's a good song.
That's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
a good song.
You can get with
And
it.
by the same band, Johnny Tarr. You know about Johnny Tarr?
No.
He's this giant dude, real big dude. He could
Mhm.
drink. He could drink, right?
Okay.
So he started drinking pretty early in the day, one day. And all of a sudden he just collapses on the floor because he's drank the bar dry.
Oh God. Okay.
It took 5 women to pick him up, and they got him to the doctor. And the doctor says, I know that he's been drinking a lot, but he's dead. And it's not what you're thinking. He died of thirst because he could drink that much. He drank so much, they drank the bar dry, and it wasn't enough for him.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So
that
check out
sounds
Gaelic
crazy.
Storm. We might actually have some representatives from Gaelic Storm
Okay.
on the podcast at some
Yeah,
point. 'Cause they're
that would be
a
fun.
pretty cool group. We've got Storm Chasers, and that's a pretty cool crew, and Gaelic Stormtroopers.
Okay.
Skid of Stormtroopers.
No.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
But we'll check out Gaelic Storm if you're interested, especially Irish rock music. They're a pretty cool crew.
Yeah.
So check them out.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Hey.
That is all for today.
See ya.
Check us out. Hey.
Marianne, say goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Marianne.
You want to do her voice again?
Next week, we'll be here with Ed Van Stein. Same rare time,
boy.
same rare channel. Check us out at noon
Noon.
on what will it be? Is that the 16th? Whatever next Sunday is.
Yep.
I think it's the 16th.
Hope so.
Come check us out. We'll be here with Ed Van Stein, and we will be talking about Finger Lakes rides. If you need a ride this week, starting tomorrow in the Cuca Lake area, make sure you give them a call, Finger Lakes Rides. And
It's an awesome idea for
Yeah.
our area.
I love the idea of supporting new business. And I've got friends who've been asking for something just like this for a long time. So
Yeah.
take advantage. This is the time. And we will be here with him next week. So have a great Sunday, and maybe we'll see you at the Laurentide.
Cool. See you guys.